Hi, everybody. Hello, welcome, and Andaran Atishan. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to our Dragon Age Pride one shot, Murder They Wrote. Um, Before we dive into our story, I'm going to let the players introduce themselves and who they are playing. I will start off with myself. I am Emma or Hamalu on the internet. I use she, they pronouns, and I am being everybody that these people are not. If we just go along in our alphabetical order, Alice, you're next.
Hi guys, my name is Alice, they them pronouns. Today I am playing Jules Valisti, one of the crows of House Valisti.
Amazing. And Autumn.
I'm Autumn Ivy. Hello. You can call me anything you want, just don't call me late for dinner. I will be playing a character named Iris today who, well, is a mess. You'll see. Just don't worry about it.
We love messes here. And CJ.
Hi everyone, my name's CJ Starry, my pronouns are they them, and I will be playing Tairian or Tairian Deriva, and his pronouns are he they. Good to be here.
Yeah. Diana.
Hello, everybody. I go by Diana Moon Online. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm playing Esperanza de Rive, she, they pronoun.
Wonderful. Last but not least.
Hello, everyone. I am Torn or Torn Talks Creativity. My pronouns are she, they. I am playing Sabarin Deriva, one of the older matriarchs of House Deriva. And I'm sure she's totally fine and has no problems whatsoever.
Yeah. Grandmommy. Love her. Yeah, I'm sure this will be perfectly fine. We're all highly trained professionals here. Um, so, Antiva is a country rich in food, in wealth, in culture, a place where it is warm and it rains often, but the flowers are always in bloom. Antiva City is one of the jewels in this crown, and it is here that we set our story. A coastal city with a large port, and sea air is one of the major fragrances that make up the smellscape of this place. So do the street food stalls that litter the harbor. The aroma of spices and incense are found all over, and the general smell of port city life. This nation also proudly boasts no formal army, for it does not need one. Instead, it defends itself with one of the most deadly assassin guilds in all of Thedas, the Antivan Crows. They are the true rulers of this nation, depending on who you ask. Our story is centered around a group of these highly trained professionals who definitely don't have messy personal lives. At a very dramatic point in their lives, a fellow crow has been murdered. Gasp. It's a supposedly difficult task to do. And I will now ask my players for some details of this murder. Each of you were given a prompt, so let us paint for the audience the murder scene of one Francisco Arenay. So we will go in the order that we did our intros. What is one aspect of this murder scene?
See. I think outside of the room Francisco was murdered in,
Mhm.
they found a scarf. Nice silk, bloodstained, but not fresh.
Mm, delicious. Autumn, what was your prompt?
I think it was a little strange that he was murdered inside of the toilet that was off to the side of the library, but here we are.
Yeah, yeah, not the most dignified of deaths for an Antivan Crow of House
No.
Aranai. No. Excellent. CJ.
Perhaps stranger still, or maybe predictable given where he was found. There was the slight smell of roses.
Roses. Well, it's better to smell of roses than something else in the bathroom to the side of a library. Very good. Diana.
So, interestingly enough, one thing that you don't expect to be heard from the inside of bathroom is an ocarina playing. A very musical ocarina that might be the signature of a certain character. I don't know who, maybe, you know?
Oops. It
Yes.
certainly would not be me.
No, of course
um,
not.
an ocarina, the other kind of tooting that happens in the bathroom,
Famously.
famously. And Torin, what is the final aspect of this scene we are painting?
So, Strangely, the last
Hmm.
words that you spoke were, so, a contract finished, eh? Was it his contract? Was it a contract on him? Who knows?
Who knows? And that is what we are here to solve today, everybody. It is Saverin who first hears word, whispers, not necessarily from fellow crows, but people who were nearby. A crow has been murdered. The body is possibly still there. Quite dramatic, really. I wonder, how would you gather people to go and investigate this before some other reaches it in time to gather their own clues?
Well, being of House Deriva
Hmm.
and knowing that he is part of House Aranai, do we handle it in house? I do know one Aranai. Could probably ask them, what would be the best for your house, I wonder. So I would definitely get my little crow with me and maybe Iris, the Aranai that I know.
Yeah. So, um, you can go and fetch your little crow. Um,
Before I
Tyrion.
do,
Yes, yes,
can I
dear.
just look about and is there anything interesting hanging around? Just gathering information before I gather people.
Absolutely. Uh, I would like you to roll me what is an investigation check, which, if you do not have the speciality, it is just in perception. If you have if you have a different focus that you think you'd like to barter with me over, feel free to barter, my dear.
I should have taken it. I didn't.
It's okay.
So,
Maybe you're using another of your senses.
I'll say I do have hearing. Shockingly enough, as an
Oh.
older woman, I hear everything.
So why don't you roll me a hearing check and we'll see a clue perhaps that you hear on the wind.
This is me, Torn. Please work. Okay.
Yeah.
That would be a 19.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh,
19, for reference, in this game system of 3d6s is an exceptional roll. It is considered one of the highest of passes. So, would somebody like to offer us a clue that she is able to hear on the wind? What else does she hear?
Perhaps, perhaps she heard someone, either physically heard someone running away, or heard someone saying that they saw someone running away.
Oh, so perhaps it was a gasp. Look, there's somebody running with a point
What
in
are
the
they
direction.
doing?
What a giant toilet we're at.
Yeah. Someone has run from the scene.
It's a red
Yeah.
herring. They just really had to get to the loo, and then they found it
Yeah.
occupied.
Occupied. They
Where's
were
the
like,
other one?
damn, like I really gotta go. And they've gone somewhere.
Oh.
Yes, it could indeed be a red herring. We will see. So you
Then
have to
yes,
hear
I will
that.
get my little crow after
Okay.
that.
Now, little crow, where are you and what are you doing when this is happening?
I think that I wouldn't call Tyrion a layabout. That's not fair. He works hard when he needs to, but when he's not on the job, he's probably found he has a few very easy places to be found. There's a particular garden that he likes to lay under a tree and read, and
Mhm.
there's a particular rooftop that he likes to sit on top of and drink. And luckily, I think right now he's reading rather than drinking.
Okay. So, Saverin, you were able to come in and see your child. What is the relationship between you and your little crow?
Well, crows don't have children per se. None that they, have on their own. But in this case, it was a little different. And he was, raised to take over some things, maybe, potentially. But I do love him in a way. He's very bright and learns very quickly. Though
Hmm.
in methods I didn't predict.
Who could predict such wonderful gifts? So you find your little crow reading. So Tyrion, what book are you reading right now?
I think it's gosh, if my first thought was just like, oh, it's a book on maybe some sort of magical. Absolutely no theory. He's not. He's reading a romance novel. Don't worry about it.
Is
He's-
it a Randy Dowager romance novel
It's
or?
probably a little bit spicy. Don't
Hmm.
know if this is, could even be a maybe a very Tetris novel.
50 Shades of
Oh,
Crow.
Barrett Tethris, 50 Shades of Red. That sounds like something you would write, honestly.
So yeah,
Okay, so you whether you peep the book or not, Sovereign, you do find your little kiddo. And what would you say to let him know what's going on?
I think I would, being a shadow per se, probably sneak up a little bit. His old bones can move a little bit, and just peer over his shoulder.
he
That's
still
my
is not.
favorite part. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. I was just gonna say he's still not as good at those things as you are, so you always manage to sneak up on him.
Oh, my
Yes.
poor boy, I think to myself. And I peer over his shoulder and I just go, ah, that's my favorite part, actually.
Hello, mother.
Hello, dear. Now, as much as I like to leave you to your reading, little crow, I have something juicy to tell you and show you and may need your help with.
Yeah, of course. Right. And he just kind of tucks that into his bag.
Mm-hmm.
Stands up. Where to? What's going on?
So, and I'm going to look around real quick. Is there anyone listening? Because this is a crow place. There's bound to be crows everywhere.
Well, it's one of those things where if you really need privacy, you're gonna have to be very quiet because people here are very well trained in espionage tactics. So perhaps a little whisper in the ear.
Yes, I will get closer. And so, I think we need to find your friend Iris. Um, there seems to be a crow down, if you will.
Oh, well, that's not good. And I presume it's.
Oh. Sorry. Yes, you're right. It's terrible.
He kind
Terrible.
of just
news.
goes. I presume it's someone of her house then.
Oh, yes. Yes, not one we all really like, Francesco, but Oops.
Well, right. I think I know where to find Iris.
Yeah.
Where would I find Iris, I guess is the question.
Yeah, where would we find Iris?
Iris is right in the middle of the scene, just standing over the body, looking
Already
down,
there. I love
already
it.
on site. That's not
Yeah.
suspicious.
Yeah.
So, as you come in, she's kind of got this very scrunched look on her face, and her brow is knit, and she looks studious.
Mm. I wonder, why don't we have you roll, Iris, to see the state in which you found the body, and someone can then let us know based on how successful your roll is. Again, this would be within the perception family. If you have a focus that you feel applies to what you're doing here, feel free to call it.
You know, I feel like searching could apply here.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you head to your main sheet, you'll see the perception and the word searching. You're going to click on that word so that it adds your +2.
Oof.
Oh, okay.
Oof.
So that was a 23. Remember when I said 19 was like an exceptional roll? 23 with a 6-point stunt means you basically crit it. There is very little room for could have done better. You're gonna see quite a lot of things. So I would like to ask each of you,
Ooh.
yeah, who are not currently in this moment. So the other four, a detail of either his body or a further thing that has been noticed at the scene of the crime. Feel free to just punt them out. We don't have to go in a specific order.
I
What
think
does
in
Iris see?
I think in his hands you see a crumpled up letter from someone that he really likes.
Oh.
And then the other one, tissue paper. It's
But there's
TP in the other one.
But there's no fresh water
Nope.
in the toilet.
Makes no sense.
There's no water at all to take the bucket and go do the dumping. There's just nothing in it.
Fascinating. What else is seen?
I
In my-
think
Oh, go ahead.
I think there's actually some old bruising down the left arm. It looks like maybe he's been tied up or
Oh,
dragged around.
bit of rough play. Love it.
Off to the side, a little bit up above where there would be the closure, there's a small window.
Okay. Possible escape route or entry point.
Not
And I was
necessarily unusual. Sorry. But it would be unusual to my character, but they're still wearing the pendant that has the Esperanza's Bard Band logo that they gave to them when they first
A
got together.
memento. Oh, sentimental.
And I think maybe something you noticed on your way in rather than something that you notice where you are presently is that there are planted outside of this area to go to the bathroom. There are plants, obviously. It keeps things smelling nice, but they've been a bit disturbed.
Not the flowers.
Maybe someone just trampled them, or maybe something else.
Oh, incredible. So the two of you will approach and see Iris already there with the body.
Oh. Didn't even have to try.
Right where I thought she'd be. Iris? Hello.
Hi. I kind of fill a doorway, so it's not like you can miss me.
Yeah.
And then she turns back and looks back down at the body, just still like face scrunched, real, just studious about this body.
Yeah.
I mean-
All right.
I was thinking about lunch.
Impeccable. No notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, what do we do with this? Because it's on my floor, and honestly, I just came to use the bathroom before lunch, so.
I mean, I was going to ask you, since you're part of House Aronite, is there something we should do?
Everybody always wants to know something. Like, I just want a sandwich. It's really not complicated. I don't know. Get them out of the way. Like, this is not my area of expertise. Okay.
I'm not sure we should disturb a murder scene. There is another toilet.
What?
There's another toilet.
Okay. So somebody lied to me about maintenance because, like, definitely had somebody tell me that the other one was under maintenance or something. So,
It is.
don't know who that guy was, but now I'm suspicious because I'm here. He's dead. That guy's gone.
Oh, the plot thickens. You will hear voices just outside. I would like to know why our other two characters, Jules and Esperanza, would be together currently, walking towards this murder scene. How did you hear about it?
I mean, it's just a little hard not to hear about it when at the house is everyone's screaming and Jules leaves some crow's bedroom half dressed,
Yeah.
really interrupting their afternoon beauty sleep.
It's rude, honestly.
It is.
Okay. And how did you bump into Esperanza?
We tend to bump into each other a lot. Sometimes comfortably, sometimes uncomfortably. You know how it is with exes.
Do you both come out of a room like at the
Yes.
same time, having been with somebody else, and be like, "Oh,
It might have been the same room. I don't know.
you weren't paying attention."
No.
You're just gonna turn around and be like, "Oh, you're there."
Yeah.
It was the lot of people. It was dark.
Okay.
Exactly. It was very much like I was bending down to pick up my ocarina because that was near the door and everything, and this is like, oh, well, it seems like we both had a good time last night.
I see some things never change. You're constantly dropping everything.
Mm.
What?
Well, it's only because you never picked up the ball.
Oh, sweet. Sweet Esperanza. I think we both know I can pick up plenty of things.
Plenty of balls, certainly.
Someone had to say it.
Yeah.
So I heard someone got shanked in not the fun way.
Yes, there has been a lot of walking about.
Well, we don't have
Anyone
anything
important?
else to do. And I don't think they've heard who it is yet.
Oh, so you're gonna
No.
find out as you
Yeah.
arrive. Yeah, I would say, after a little bit of catching up and walking in this general direction, you can see there already a bit of a crowd going on. You will recognize some fellow crows, and even before you see the body, you probably see the boots first, and it's enough to have a bit of an idea about who is laying on that floor.
Yeah, I think like whenever there's like a death in house and everything, everybody's like, "Oh, gossip, who could it be?" So we were like both like,
Yeah,
getting to
yeah.
but I will
Listing names of
visibly
who's the most likely to have just been murdered in a toilet. Yeah.
yeah. We'll slow down a bit. Mm,
Mm.
No. This is some prank, right? This has to be.
I mean, it might be a prank, but it's also a prank with a dead body.
True.
Same
And
though.
they'll definitely like sliver their way through the crowd
Yeah.
to confirm. And I think it's like, and if sorry, it's gonna take me a moment to remember everybody's. Jules, if you are paying attention to your ex, you'll see their face go like very serious and like pale before they take a deep breath, and then their mask of like, oh, everything's fine kind of goes back into place.
Mhm.
It's Francesco.
Well, I'm not surprised. He was going to get himself killed one of these days. It's a shame that someone has to take on his debt, though.
Dead, and they're visibly out of it. Like what? Like they know about the debt, but they forgot for the moment.
Yeah.
Nothing to worry your pretty little head about.
Um, the rest of you can hear the voices of fellow crows approaching, but there are other people that are trying to get an eye in. And normally, with crow business, you do not want the general public getting involved. Who of the five of you do you think would be scattering the crowds, and how do you do it?
That'd be me.
Okay, I love it.
So you kind of watch as she starts to lean down to notice a bunch of people are kind of doing that rubbernecking where they're peering around the
Mhm.
corner and they're trying to see things. And she gently bypasses and makes her own little pathway right into the middle of the hall. And there's this guy slightly off to the side who's trying to kind of get around to see who it is, who's the body, like what's going on. And she picks him up by his head and
Mm.
moves him about 10 feet the other direction and sits him down, meanwhile looking at everybody else in the crowd. And she turns back and she crosses her arms over her chest and she goes, "So, you're moving or I'm moving you? 3, 2."
It's like a moment where they look and they're like, "Oh, scared," and then they scatter, much like guinea pigs do, in all different directions.
Tyrion leans over to Savarin and just goes, "This is one of my favorite things she does."
Honestly, it is why I find her so endearing. Honestly, it's very fun to watch.
It causes a little chaos as people try to clamber over each other to get out of the way because they don't want to be caught. But they scarper, leaving the five of you now with a murder scene.
Very
Shall
well
we
done, Iris.
secure the corridor? I think maybe there's some sort of if it's a corridor, but maybe it's not, it's partially open, maybe there are ways you can close doors around it.
Sure.
Like there might be sort of like not barn doors, but like
Yeah. It's like saloon doors.
just a barn.
Yeah.
We've installed these really trendy new barn doors.
Just slide door.
Very into that country home aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
that sort of rural Orlesian.
There's chickens everywhere.
Oh, Antiva City never change. Yeah.
I'll say
Yeah,
that.
we've
and
gone.
Severin-
It's that. I'm sorry, go ahead. I
No, you're
was
good, you're good.
literally just vamping on completely bullshit at this point.
It's worth noting that Antiva City, much like many of the major urban sprawls of Antiva, is rigged for the crows. There are latches, secret steps, secret doorways, pulley systems that will bring you up to the roof. The whole place is bristling with these, and you have to be a crow to know where they are. So there will be certain things to your advantage that you can use in your environment as well that you would all know about.
I was gonna say, Severin, if there is any kind of egress point like that, she's small. She's like 5 feet. She's a very small little woman, but has that like don't fuck with me like I'm a crow and I'm a crow kind of thing. And I think she would go to an egress point and use like a lever to close off something, but make sure to leave that physical impression of like this is crow business as she does it. Like, don't.
Do not pass go.
Camera
Mm-mm.
zooms in as the doors close.
Yep, it's just like her face, just like as it closes down to make sure we're not stepped in upon.
Okay.
Well, I didn't expect to be trapped in a bathroom with 5 people today, 5 including, well, a dead body. But here we are. So, someone has been murdered. He just kind of looks at everyone else like he's set the scene, but he didn't know where to go from there.
And it's the day ending in Y.
Someone has been murdered that we weren't called to murder.
Well, maybe.
Do we
In
know
a
that for
very
sure?
undignified way.
I mean, it's not really undignified for them, so depends on who you ask.
Probably caught you many times.
I'm sure a few of us would know.
Oh, wait, is that next joke? That's a next joke. I see it. That's funny.
And I think Sovereign will just kind of like walk the scene, and I know we have some clues on everything with
do.
the like since I heard someone before running away, and
Yeah.
then I see the window. Can I
Yeah.
go and look at it? Is there any like
The window?
clothing left behind, like ripped clothes?
Yes. Absolutely. You can give us a roll with a skill of your choice. For what you might find here at the window.
I think just a perception check.
Sure.
I've built her a little bit differently than what I should have done.
That's
but
okay.
Oof,
There will be other
11.
things involved in this, do not worry. Oh, 11.
Yeah, it's not
So,
great.
what I will say is what you can find is it in fact a red herring. What is here that might appear to be a clue that Severin is going to think is important? Mm.
How interesting. And she picks up whatever it is.
Yeah. So
A
perhaps
locket.
a locket.
Oh.
Oh, sure. What's inside?
A
Maybe
rose petal.
a curl of hair, a rose petal. Oh, yeah.
Preserved.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad you
A
said
lo-
that because I was about to be like, nope.
You're like, what?
Smells like glycerin. Mm.
Oh no!
So you find a
I-
locket with a rose petal in it, and you're like, "Ah, curious. This place does smell like roses.
Mhm, mhm.
Mm.
And turning around and kind of looking at the group, like we all know each other, but we're all a little bit different houses, different leanings.
Yeah.
And I think Severin will kind of look at the locket and look at all of you. Just, I can trust you for a day, maybe. And
I
we'll show you the locket. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think as you're surveying the team, it gives us a perfect opportunity to follow that camera and look at each of you in turn. Could you describe to us what your character looks like?
Yeah. Do you want us to go in the same order
We,
or?
we can go in the same order. Sure. So we'll start with Alice. What do you look like? And
Um,
like not just what you look like, but in that very moment when Severin is scanning you all, what do you currently look like?
Jules just is kind of leaning against the wall. They're a lanky elf with like ringlets of like brown hair, and they stand out just a little bit amongst their fellow crows. They have on like this really soft, like pink brocade set of robes and just a little more jewelry than I imagine most of them would wear. Just very, very ostentatious.
Just entirely too extra.
Very much so. A little bit glitter, a little bit glam. They're very
Happy Pride, everyone.
Yes.
Okay, and Ivy, what do we see as the camera pans to you?
So Iris is very simple. She doesn't like
Iris,
a
yeah.
lot of glitz, doesn't like a lot of glamour, keeps it the simpler the better. She is wearing this fur-lined leather duster though,
Mm,
with some leather straps around her chest and then running down her thighs and kind of like a not quite shorts, but almost like this dancer's kind of belt thing. So she's got coverage. But she's not wearing any jewelry. Her hair is swept back through her double set of horns. And she's very sharp-faced, like
mhm.
very bitchy Regina George. Um, and her hair goes from like this very deep kind of fire color down into white along the tips. But she is the mean girl's girl.
Yeah, a big Regina George with
Mhm,
horns and
mhm.
awesome hair. Happy Pride, everybody. Um, okay, Little Crow, what do we see?
Well, what you do see with Tyrion, and I'll be fully transparent and honest that I never asked what race Saverin was.
Mm,
So I will say that Tyrion is either an elf or a half elf.
yeah.
You're a half elf, baby.
Elf-blooded, we stand.
Yeah. It probably whoever Saverin chose to have progeny with was chosen for their skills.
Mm,
And whatever position they held in the crows, probably.
okay.
So I figured I could be half anything, probably.
Yeah. Mhm.
So he is a half elf. His ears are not as big, but it's still kind of like not hard to see. And he is slightly tan and a little bit soft features. His hair is dark, almost black, and is pulled to the side in a braid. And he has sort of a low cut top that he's not. Uh, he's quite comfortable in that bit of himself, but he has quite a low cut top that, in certain from certain angles, you can see his scars around his chest. Um,
Happy Pride, everyone.
Aw.
Give me those chest scars. Okay. Um, delightful. Esperanza.
Esperanza is a dark brown skinned human, has curly ringlets that they always have. It's always messy, but it's always tried to pin up. They do actually, unless they're performing, they actually do wear a mask all the time, even in the home of the crows and everything.
Mhm.
It's their armor essentially.
Mhm.
They're 5'10". Um, they tend to, when they're at home with the rest of the crows, they tend to dress like plainly. So because they don't like, especially after a wonderful night like last night, they don't have to do much to have a wonderful night like last night or dress in a certain way. So it still hugs them, and it's a little flowy so
Mhm.
that they can hide their daggers and their poison bottles, of course. And they're currently crouched down, peering over, looking at whatever that paper that Francesco had in his hand. Not the TP, the
Not
other
the
one.
few yeah. You're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, there's 2 notes here." Wait, no, that's I'm
What
gonna
ply
leave
is
that.
this?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's
He
important.
brought his own, he brought his own. Okay, delightful. We will get to what you see in that note, in just a second. And Matriarch Severin, what do we see with
Yes.
you?
So
As
you
it kinda comes
see,
back to you with your eyes narrowed slightly, looking at everyone.
absolutely, because Severin is an elven born and does have
Mm.
bigger eyes, as you know, typically set in their green, but currently
Mhm.
is scanning each one of you, just looking for anything you might give away. And as I said before, she's about 5 foot, smaller, lithe frame, and is honestly almost head to toe covered in gray and black, just to, not give away anything of import. And one note, she looks at her son, little crow, and she's like, "I did a good job." Okay, that's it. All right.
Oh, happy pride.
I did
He's
good.
fully, by the way, as far as behaviorism, carrying himself as if he's running this investigation. Oh
Oh.
no.
Thinks to herself, "Oh no."
Not like in maybe I think he's incapable of being a complete twat, but he's just like clearly someone has been murdered here, and you're like, no shit.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
Thankful.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
there's
He's
definitely a
out
small
here
part
doing
of
his
it's like,
best. Yeah.
"Oh no, that's okay. We'll get there."
Cute
Anyway,
little
yes,
guy.
that's what you see.
Okay. So, what I would like is, in theory, it is going to be somewhere in the cunning family, but I am willing to hear whatever skill you want, Esperanza, as you pick this note out, and perhaps carefully. Maybe it's a little damaged or torn or wet from the floor of this bathroom. Open
Ugh.
it carefully. Perhaps you want to do something dexterous to make sure that it is opened carefully. Do you want to make a roll for us? And then someone else can tell us what is written on that note.
Dexterous or cunning? Because I do have
Sure.
writing as a specialization, since I
Oh,
am a
then
bard
you know
after
what?
all.
Oh.
Use the specializations. Smoke them if you
Yeah.
got them. Oh, 15. That's a fairly decent roll. Yeah, there's maybe a couple words here or there missing or like stained or torn through, but the general gist is definitely going to come through. So, would somebody like to give us an idea of what is written on this note that is clutched in his hand that he felt he needed to bring to a bathroom? It could be something damning. It could be a love poem to an ex that he still wears a memento of. Who knows?
Is Francisco human, elven?
Human. A human man lying here pathetically on the bathroom floor. Happy Pride!
Uh,
Okay.
so in this note
Yes.
is library Lou at 2, just me and you. I'm trying to think of other
So
vibey
romantic.
words. I wasn't quick enough.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's fine. Even that alone. Maybe the rest of it is slightly damaged.
Do not bring you know who.
Oh.
Oh,
Is there any like symbol
Oh.
of a signature on the bottom? Not a name, but like a symbol at the bottom, maybe?
It looks like a really scratched out. You don't know if it's like you don't know if it's an I or a V or if maybe like the little jagged line that looks half crossed out makes an M. It's not
Uh-huh.
really determinate, but there is a letter there.
Love it.
Ooh. So somebody arranged this meeting and said not to bring another. How juicy.
Seems like he wasn't too broken up about it. There's slight bitter tone in their voice.
Oh, yeah. I would imagine all of you. Listen, you're crows. You're highly advanced espionage experts. You can peep a little bit. Like, is it jealousy? Is it bitterness? There's something with Esperanza.
I have empath. I roll empath.
You can roll it if you want, but I would like to think you're all highly trained enough that everyone is just like. But if you want to roll to see the very specifics of what is going on with Esperanza, feel free.
And empathy is in perception, I think.
It is.
Yes.
15
will-
with 3 stunts. I would say that's pretty darn good. What would you say are your surface emotions right now, Esperanza? And maybe one that is a little deeper, more hidden.
There's definitely a little bit of grief because like it's someone that they knew intimately. There is that bitterness of like it's a surprise jealousy. Like even them are like, huh, because it hasn't been that long since they've technically nobody knows that they've broken up in theory,
Everyone
the-
knows.
they thought nobody knew. But
Yeah.
the deeper bit is there's a feeling of like regret that wouldn't be so obvious, but because you've known them pretty intimately yourself, you can pick up on that.
Interesting.
That must sting. I've only been, what, a few days? Does move through partners fast, if I remember correctly.
Move through training fast too, but here we are.
And move through a bathroom even quicker, it seems.
Would that mean that someone just as good would have to do this?
Looks at you specifically.
Everybody turns.
Everyone's eyes.
I was gonna say, and she moves, and it's like pop, 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 pop. Bones just creak a little bit.
Oh no.
I mean, I can only think of a handful of people that could do this so without anybody have knowing during the act of. And they kind of look pointed at you, but they're not necessarily accusing you. It's just that you are technically the only one here that could pull it off, kind of thing.
No, no, I'm just kidding.
So is this like are we doing like the blame game thing because you're mad that like they broke up with you, or like what are you mad about exactly here? Because you're pointing
It
fingers
was
awful
a
quick.
mutual decision.
Oh, so now you're defensive.
Mhm.
Which is it?
This is why I never done a job with you. You are so frustrating.
Am I frustrating or am I just honest? Because like let's be clear. The note didn't say that they were meeting for a hookup. Okay, it just said that they were meeting. Whoever like they are.
Why else would you
So
meet in a bathroom when there's so many other private areas in the library to have a meeting?
I don't know. The walls have ears here. Let's be honest.
And maybe it was, dirty nature of it, and it's a fitting place. Dirty business.
Or is it possible that this was all a setup?
Ooh, I like that. You got taught well. See, we got this.
I had a good teacher.
I mean, the question is, did he actually die here, or was he just put here?
Now that's a very good question.
Oh,
And I will say it will only be Severin that knows that there was the sound of an ocarina in there, and you know that's the signature instrument of Esperanza.
Ooh, could I technically use tracking here for like
Yes,
clues around the body to see if the body was moved?
absolutely you could.
I would like to do that. Okay, please give me something good to eat. Oh, 18.
Very good. You are well fed. Okay, so yes, you can see something very interesting that you could track away from this body. Would somebody like to offer up the clue of what they see?
Ooh, I was gonna say just
Have
the
to go up to
faintest track
the
marks.
Uh-huh.
Because we have the bloody scarf outside, we have the broken plants outside.
Yeah.
So maybe just the faintest little drag, maybe like even like a step drag. You know what I mean? Like
From the plants,
Oh.
from the
a little
plants,
bit of
and then
soil.
little
Mm.
little bit of like footprints and stuff going through.
What direction are they going?
I think you would have footprints going in, and then
Mm.
heel marks follow.
Ah, very
So they'd
good.
be facing the opposite. Yeah.
Would there
And
be any going out? Or is it just drag marks and the footsteps coming in?
I think it would be just in.
Oh.
The footprints only go in. And last question: what kind of size are we talking for these feet?
Ooh. Small.
Do they
It's
got
important
big
for
feet?
crime solving.
Like,
Yeah.
This is an important
Small
question
and
to ask.
slim. Yeah. Also, how big are
Well-
his feet? No, kidding. Small and
Long-
slim feet.
Small and some delicate little feeties.
Not out of place though.
There are a lot of delicate little feeties in Antiva City. But it would rule out certain types of people.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Looks down at feet.
Yeah.
I think quite indelicately, Tyrion looks at you while you're looking down at your feet, looks down at your feet, looks up at you and goes, well, it's not you.
Didn't think it was.
The person in me, little bird, no, but at the same time, like, like someone would be like, good job, boy.
Good deducing. Well done.
It's so smart, little crow. Fine.
Okay. So it seems that the scuffle in the plants was not for the escape, but it was coming in the way, which may imply that coming in here they were a little hurried and sloppy enough to have gone through the flower beds. Are the crows sloppy?
Not typically.
Depends.
Debate. Some are very sloppy.
It depends on what context you're asking.
Happy Pride.
So we're thinking, I mean, or maybe at least a going theory here. He's kind of like peeking out the window and they made that much of a mess. Either they weren't a crow, or it's possible that they had some sort of motive driven by feelings that allowed them to act out of their training.
Or they don't want you to know it's a crow. Crows wouldn't do that.
Or it
Double
was
bluff.
deliberate. Like, why not make it look like a mess, especially if you're really good at what you do?
It's true.
Curiouser and curiouser. Okay. Who has the scarf with the blood?
Oh.
That was discarded outside. Did anybody pick it up?
No, I have the pendant.
Oh, it's still sitting in place. I wonder if anybody recognizes the scarf.
Shall we go have a look at that? Is this so? This scarf? I don't remember who said where it was. But is it just outside the loo in the corridor that we shut
Yes,
off?
it was discarded outside of the room.
Okay, but still in the area we've shut off.
Yes.
So easy enough. Yeah, I mean, Tyrion will go pick it up then.
It has blood on it, but it's old blood. We've also not necessarily determined cause of death yet of the corpse.
I think like noticing the movement of you picking it up, Esperanza looks and said, "That's not one of Francesca's.
Right.
Not his
Then
style,
it's-
unfortunately."
Then it must have been planted, because even someone who's not a crow would have to be stupid to leave something that big behind.
Or it's a message. Does anyone recognize it?
He kind of holds it out.
Or does it look familiar?
Yeah, can we?
Yeah, if
see if
we're
we recognize
jogging memories, in theory, this is going to come through cunning, some kind of history roll, but I am open to anything that you may barter.
Ooh. Can I do a cultural
Recognizing
lore?
patterns. Yeah, patterns, cultural lore, absolutely. Heraldry, listen, a lot of things would apply here.
Evaluation?
Since Esperanza's dismissed this as being Francesca's, they're not paying attention. Can I look at the body and use poison lore to see if they were poisons in some sense?
Absolutely. So you roll that roll, and if someone else can say,
I rolled
we're
a
not necessarily
17 for the the scarf.
You
Sorry.
did 17 for the scarf. I would say with 11, it is enough to know that this is perhaps it is not necessarily expensive or made by somebody very well known, because there are going to be fashion houses in Antiva City, because of course there would be. So whatever it is perhaps something a bit more sentimental or handmade. For 17 with cunning, does somebody want to give anything that might be recognizable on this, be it an emblem, a pattern, or just that you saw somebody with it? What can we tell from this scarf, everyone?
I think it's hand woven.
Okay.
I'm sure someone can build on that, but
Yeah, a sentimental piece.
Yeah. And as you're holding it, she's got her hand kind of like, feeling it, pulling it a little bit, taking a look at it. So, yes,
Yeah.
so hand woven.
Could probably be raw silk then.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, because I'm
Essentially.
like, dang, a silk scarf that you hand wove. Damn. Sorry, go ahead.
In the case of raw silk, it might be like Dalish.
Yeah. Oh, Dalish. Let's make it Dalish. So this is a Dalish hand-woven silk scarf. That is difficult to come by in a city. And if it was hand-woven, this had to have been sentimental to somebody.
Mhm. So it's
The
more
old
of a
bloodstains on it.
sentimental message. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Um,
Sabrin, when she does that, she'll kind of look at uh, her little crow with a knowing look of just, and we'll turn to the rest of the group and say, well, it looks elven in origin. Nothing from here in Antiva.
mhm.
Mm.
For poison lure, a 13 with 4 stunt, we can honor those 4 stunts definitely. Just a yes, no question. I'm happy to take a vote amongst the 4 others who did not do the roll. Was he poisoned? Show of hands if you think yes.
Oh.
Show of hands if you think no. Oh, inconclusive.
I'm just saying there's no toilet water in there, so like,
Yeah.
and I would like to go over. So you see Iris kind of slide over, and she takes a very obviously large hand in comparison to everybody else and
Uh-huh.
pushes it on his chest, and a little bit of water bubbles up.
Oh.
So I'm just saying they weren't that size when we were training. And I don't know about you guys, but like it's not like he ate a whole room dinner and then just died. So like where did the bloat come from?
She's smart, everyone.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, I'd love you to do the what, like it's hard.
What? Like it's hard?
Yeah, we're all looking
I'm-
at you in surprise that you said something not mean and actual.
Yeah,
Like,
factual. I'd be
factual.
like,
Look, like they trained me. I don't really know what you expect. I'm supposed to do good guy Gary stuff all the time. Like, please. I know where we're from.
I've always admired that about you, Iris. Okay.
I think Tyrion is just at the moment he's kind of taking in the scene a little bit, but while he's doing that, he's very almost reverently folding the scarf and tucking it away for now. We have a lot of information here, but nothing that we've got someone who either is trying to set something up or is very lazy. We've got a murder in a bathroom without any water, but that is probably involving some sort of drowning. We have a locket. We have destroyed plants, which is probably from a hasty escape. We have a note of someone telling him to come here. But if he was killed somewhere other than here, it's possible that the note is also part of the elaborate setup. We have a scarf. That's elven. But we don't have a motive, except for the fact that he's a crow. That's enough of a motive for some people, I'm sure. But it would get you in a lot of trouble.
Yes. And that scarf is sentimental. So maybe this is more a crime of passion, whether it was planned or not. Someone's getting back at him for something.
It seems like it was, to me, it feels like it was a crime of passion, and this was their best attempts on making it look more methodical.
So maybe
So
an
perhaps an
opportunist.
accident. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I would say maybe more of an opportunist. Maybe they saw him walking down the street. I don't know.
We probably should get the whereabouts of his day today and
We-
last night.
Can't assume it to be an opportunist unless it's an incredibly observant one, because the end of the note said, "Don't bring the other one." So they know about him and his life.
So they've been watching him
Or
or knew him. Mhm.
or planned to kill him, or accidentally killed him and thought they'd set it up like a murder.
That's
Or
actually a
the
good
other way
question.
around.
And I think Sabran is going to look at both Jules and Esperanza, especially just tell me, my dears, where were you last night? Since I know one of you knows him very well, at least.
Well, there was a nice little party last night that was happening, and some of us went to go and indulge in an after party. We didn't realize we were in the same room, however, and they give a smirk over to you.
Sounds messy.
We do have witnesses.
Was he there last night that you know at this party?
Was he GM?
Oh. Let's make this juicy. Can somebody roll me a dice? Those of you who are familiar with Roll20 and how to do this, just any dice. Evens, he was. Odds, he was not.
Ooh.
Oh,
Even.
we got an even first. So he was there.
There
The
were a lot
plot
of
really
parties.
thickens. Uh-huh.
After all, the city is celebrating.
I think Esperanza's a little hedgy. Like, they did see them, but they were very much like trying to avoid them during the party. So I was like, he could have been there. But I did not participate anything to do with whatever he was up to, if he was.
Mm.
You know me, I participate in just about everything, and I don't know if I remember him being there or not. Plenty of parties again.
I would like to do some sort of check to see if I think either of them are obscuring information.
Fabulous. So
Me
within
too,
perception,
please.
there
Yeah.
is an empathy roll. So if you don't have empathy, you're just rolling perception. And then I would like the two of you to roll deception for me.
Can I roll a hearing to see if I hear like a hitch in their voice or anything, or is that too far
If you
reaching?
sure, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Yes, and
Would
Ooh,
communication
19. Ah,
apply?
damn it, Alice. I rolled 19.
I don't know how to click perception. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
that's okay. So you just
I
click
just-
the word, yeah.
Really? Oh, there it
Mhm.
is. That was dumb.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There we go. So okay, the two of you rolled enough to figure out that Esperanza, you know, do you want to elaborate on the nature of what it is that you were covering up that they're noticing within you? You don't. Jules is.
Damn it.
Iron Tide, definitely believable.
Jules is just the casual partier.
Yeah. I think it's up until obviously a certain point when we went off to the rooms to have fun. They were watching, like keeping an eye like in the periphery of where he was at all times. But
he was
between the whole
with.
like, I
Yeah.
don't like, oh, he's here. Oh, who cares? Kind of thing. But they're like just like in, I know the camera, the layout doesn't show me pointing
Yeah.
to everybody else,
It's
but yeah.
yeah.
So they were watching them up to a point, and they might have noticed maybe not necessarily who they were talking to, but
Yeah.
would notice when they were talking to someone else and such.
Yeah. So it's clear that you were watching him a lot, and perhaps the reason for your deception currently is trying to mask some pain at the fact that you saw him there quite clearly socializing and enjoying the company of other people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Sovereign clocks that and is just like, oh dear, it will pass soon.
I love Crow so much. Uh-huh.
But also we'll make a mental note of just like, oh, string of broken hearts. Looks at Scarf. Maybe literally.
Yeah.
I think Tyrion doesn't say anything. He just gives you a slightly judging look. Like,
Mm.
I was gonna say, is this the only time he looks like his mother?
They're
You
both
see the
doing
family
it.
resemblance now. They're both
Yeah,
like,
like
He sees them both in profile.
yeah.
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely some judgy. Now, I wonder, Sovereign, are you going to share with the group? Perhaps you're holding on to the ocarina sound for now. Maybe you can divulge that with somebody privately. But
Yeah.
you also heard him say a contract ended, eh?
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Yeah.
Especially with what I just said.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna take
Just-
it. I'm gonna take it.
Okay.
You know, Esperanza. I know the musical instrument you like to use. Fairly certain I heard it. Not too long ago, in fact. Maybe in this very corridor.
And they visibly frown. I used it last night, and they pull theirs out. I've had no need to use it since. Like being very honest at this point, because the ocarina is their baby. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And for everybody, it's not the Zelda ocarina shaped. It's actually in the shape of a bird, not a crow. And it's definitely very handmade clay style of ocarina.
Yeah.
Now,
Hmm.
here's a better question then. I know I heard that very recently. You all know I've remarkable hearing. Where is it from? Did you make another one for someone?
They huff like in indignation, and I would only make this for an offspring. I would never make it for anybody else.
So
Mm.
it's incredibly rare. That's what you're getting at.
Yes. And they stare at you.
Okay.
So I'm curious. Okay, because like, did you have it with you at the party? Or
I
did you
did.
like leave it?
I keep this on me all times.
Oh, all times? Like all the time?
Like 20 minutes ago.
Looks over at Jules and is like, back me up here. Like literally you just saw me with it.
What do you want me to say, dear? I saw you pick it up from the floor. I didn't see you before that.
In the room that we were all in, not out here or in the bathroom.
Okay, but if it's so precious, like why was it on the floor? You just said you had it on you all the
I
time.
don't use it for sex, okay?
Look, I'm
is
not trying to
sacred.
kink shame you. I just was asking questions. Like, did you play it for somebody? Did they play it for somebody? Do you have like a special trick you use it for? Like, I'm just asking.
I used it last night at the party to indulge everyone into a good mood, and it hasn't been used since.
So,
I think what we're getting at here is it wouldn't have been difficult if you were asleep for
Mhm.
someone to pick it up
and blow it.
and then put it back down. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Thank you for your help, Iris.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Is it though?
So,
I'm
if it
not
was
doing the blowing. You are.
yeah.
Hey, yo. Okay, sorry, I'm done.
Happy Pride.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Well,
mean, I know what I heard.
And are you sure you're remembering what you heard correctly? I mean, you are rather old now. Someone can get their memories
I will
mixed up,
throw a knife at Esperanza. No, I'm kidding.
and I will catch it.
I'm like, yeah.
I feel like everyone in the room just kind of like backs up a little.
yeah. Everyone's like, oh boy, batten down the hatches, everyone.
Oh no, I won't play that yet. Okay. Esperanza, my dear, you don't get as old as I am in this world, especially our world, without being very good and maybe a bit more careful with your tongue.
I'm told my tongue is very talented, and it's
That's
never
unfortunate.
missed.
You should get better evaluators. Anyway, so if I didn't hear your ocarina and it's so rare,
Do you not
what
think
else could it
someone
be?
tried to set me up?
You're the one saying you never lose it.
I
I'm
don't.
trying to help you. Well, sort of.
Right. The only one you ever help is this one over here, pointing to your
And he's
son.
wonderful. Why wouldn't I?
Oh
Also, my
yes,
When I
son,
so
s-
you have to include
wonderful.
me in that.
and I don't directly contradict myself when I speak.
No, you just don't
Oh,
say anything that anybody else hasn't
I,
said.
I
I
also
think
noticed.
You don't
you
even
like
have an
go up into
original
his.
thought, boy.
I go up to his cheek and I'm like, oh, you're so good. All right.
So I only noticed one person not actually in the interim of the arguing besides myself. So like, how about you? And I kind of shift over to the only other person who sure was pointing fingers a minute ago who wasn't at
And
the
was
party.
in the room with the ocarina
Correct.
when she was sleeping.
So I'm just curious because like you're the only person who's kind of battened down the hatches here and didn't really bother to say anything else. So like that makes you look just as guilty, just so we're clear.
I mean, I was just enjoying their fighting. After all, who doesn't like to watch both of them go at it?
Okay, yeah, but that wasn't the question. Like you were the other person in the room with the ocarina. So like what's your defense?
Do you want the details?
Yes.
Well,
wait, that
there
wasn't my
was.
defense.
Right. As I imagine a lurid explanation of what went on last night. Can I get
Yay!
somebody to roll a D4 with 1 being Iris, 2 being our little crow, 3 being Esperanza, and 4 being Severin of who knows that Francisco owed a big debt
Ooh.
to Severin.
There we go. That's a 4.
No, not me.
Severin, you knew
Mm.
that I mean, there is definitely somebody else in this room that would have motive to kill this person. However, you do know that Tavern had beef with Francisco because he owed a very large debt, which he now can't repay.
But to my little crow, I would never.
Mm-hmm.
But I would look at him very pointedly.
Oh no, it's Alice's character that
I thought,
owed
okay,
a big
I'm
debt
so
to.
sorry.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did
yeah.
not hear Jules. I heard
I couldn't
Torn.
Oh,
remember
I
either.
was saying the wrong name. It's Jules. It's Jules. It's
It's
Jules.
Oh. Jules did it. No. Objection.
He owed a
I
big debt
think
to Jules. Is my
yeah.
point. Yeah.
So I think after the very enjoyable description that she just heard
Yeah.
from Jules, like, oh, I swear, getting old is not nearly as fun anymore. I can't enjoy all of this. Anyway,
Can.
Jules, my dear, I happen to hear, and I think when she says here, she looks at Esperanza here, that our dear dearly departed one seem to owe you a little bit more than normal dealings.
Man owed me almost 2 bastards.
Well, we can't pay it back now, can he?
No, and that's a shame. And I would like to find out who did kill him. So they can, either by blood or by hand.
Oh. I think you see like a little like like Summer's like, yay! She loves
Yeah, I
this.
think
Like,
for like a second, like Jules' like casual attitude just kind of like drops just for that.
Oh.
Money is a big issue and a big priority for the Felicity house.
gotcha.
Yes.
wants money. Okay. But yes, make sure to tell the rest of the group that that information, that Jules was owed a big favor.
Yeah, and maybe this was the final price. Who knows?
Sorry, real quick. Remind me again. Is Jules an elf? What is Jules again?
They are an elf.
They are elven. Okay.
Little lanky.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
You
I'm
don't
the only
recognize
human
this
here.
scarf.
Token
Then
human.
kind of holds it up and says, "I've never seen it, but
Not from one of the fashion houses around here, and it looks a little cheap.
oh, interesting."
Oh, I don't know if Severin would show it, but she was just kind of like, okay, like at the cheap comment, like, okay.
So while this conversation is happening at that little snippet, do I notice anyone look even remotely offended or like off sorts with that reaction?
Yeah, anyone? Let's just be honest here. The comment that this handmade silk Dalish scarf is cheap. Did that cut anyone emotionally?
Severin,
Yeah,
she did
Severin.
not appreciate that comment.
I think
Did not care.
Tyrion is not in the same way, but there was a unrestrained eyebrow quirk, partially because he knows his mother,
Yeah.
and partially because he's like, "The fuck? Am I allowed to say that on the stream?"
Yes. Yes. You can.
We can say fuck.
Yes.
Yay! But he doesn't say anything. But there was definitely a I can't even do it that quickly without trying. But there was like a one
Yeah.
of his eyebrows. I can do eyebrows. I just
Yeah.
can't do them quickly.
Also, I think the
Quickly.
funny thing is because like I do that as a person, so it's probably
Yeah.
another of those moments like they are related.
They both do it at the same time, same
Yeah.
eyebrow. Yeah.
Mhm.
You're like, so
Mm.
you do notice a reaction from the two of them, yes. Mm.
Keep that in
He
mind.
puts it away.
Yeah,
He just
yeah.
says, "Fine. That actually says all that I needed to about that." Just puts it back away. Well, how about this? We proceed with the assumption that it's none of us, and see if we can't gather any more clues before we start pointing fingers.
So, indeed. There are a few options for how you can proceed beyond the immediate room, and things to consider as we approach our halfway point. Um, the body could be moved to be studied properly in case there are other marks that may elude. There is, remember, bruising from restraints, but maybe that's from the party last night.
Sounds like it.
Happy
Looks
Pride.
I
Yeah.
just made the assumption it was.
Yeah. But perhaps there are other marks, smaller cuts. Maybe he has been stabbed, and the reason there's no blood on the floor here is because he did not die here. But he was
Oh.
heard saying something. So was somebody just imitating his voice in this room? There are a lot of things to be considered there. Also,
Mm.
if we know he was in that room last night, maybe that room needs to be studied, and other attendees need to be questioned.
I actually forgot I gave her this. I have research.
Oh.
Could I look at those like look at the not necessarily the water necessarily, but you know, like the body and just kind of see
You're doing crime scene
can we
analysis
get
on the body.
yeah, crime scene analysis.
Forensic
I don't want to say
anthropology. Let's
forensics, but
go.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. A little bit of
Yes, you can.
forensic
You
work.
may have to disrobe him slightly. Are you just going to do it here in the bathroom, or are you going to try and move the body somewhere?
I
We're in a
think
library. You can always just put it on one of the desks.
yeah,
in
yeah.
there.
I think I'll do it here first just for context.
Okay.
And not totally disrupt. Like I'm not just gonna be like, yeah, like rip his shirt off
We
or
haven't
something.
seen before.
Yeah. But
A
more
wet
of just
slapping noise.
Yeah.
oh man. But yeah, just see if anything like shakes out of his shirt or if there's other marks like ooh, that would actually be for later. Anyway, yes, I'm not gonna move him
Uh-huh.
yet. But
Okay. Yes.
definitely
Please.
if we're not getting anything after this, we'll probably mention it.
Yeah.
Please be good. 18.
It is good. Okay. I would say that what you're able to find are 4 different things that could be suspicious and possibly be a cause of death.
Mhm.
Can the other 4 players now give something that is seen on the body, in the body, that might allude to things that could have killed this man? Are there marks? Are there cuts? Are there further bruising? Something suspicious with bruising.
I think there's a purpling bruise just around his neck, here and here.
Like a choke? Oh,
Maybe.
There
okay.
there looks like a small puncture, a slit, like right at the bottom of the throat, above the collarbone, almost like there was a tracheotomy done on the fly, but it's messy.
Oh, I love this.
Okay.
I
Okay.
wanna I wanna add to, like, the earlier comment of, like, "Oh, they're bloated," and maybe that like, hinting that they were drowned, that, like because there was other floral scents and this is a bathroom and everything, it took a while for us to notice or, for Savern to notice that the smell of their body definitely seems like it's from a canal, like they were in water, like a water canal smell.
So he was perhaps drowned
Oh.
somewhere.
It's
Oh.
different.
This could be a Rasputin thing where 5 different
They tried real hard, took a lot of attempts to get this man down. Okay.
Yeah.
And then finally, Alice,
Ooh.
what else is seen on the body?
We said there was some dragging in the soil, right?
Yeah.
I think one of his legs are at a weird angle.
Ooh.
Oh. So all of these things are very curious. They allude to perhaps the murder having happened somewhere else, perhaps a canal, which means are there nearby canals where somebody saw something? Also, if he was killed somewhere else and then brought here, why was his voice heard saying that? And if somebody did plant the sound of an ocarina here, there maybe is the intention of trying to frame.
Hmm.
And if ocarinas are rare, has somebody purchased one in the city recently?
Hmm.
I will add
Um,
this so it's
yes.
a little bit more clear. Yeah, because I don't know the Dragon Age lore, I can't be like, oh, it's similar to this culture, but it would be like the ocarinas come from a part
Yeah.
of Antiva that would be the Latino
Yeah.
equivalent, and so it is rare, but like it's a certain cultures like this style of ocarina would be.
In Ravani.
I think
Yeah,
Ravani. I think making it Ravani would be interesting. So it's not like unheard of, but it's not a common piece here in Antiva because it is more of a Ravani thing. So
yeah.
yeah, I
It's like
like
one
that.
little bit of culture that Esperanza was able to bring through becoming a
Yeah,
crow.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not geographically super far away. There are influences between the two because there's shared cultural heritage in a lot of ways. So yeah, I like that.
Um.
But the coincidence of him having your pendant still around his neck and knowing that your relationship only just ended and that music was heard feels very intentional.
Like he has
Hmm.
strangulation.
Well,
Strangulation and the puncture and the bloating and the bruising.
I was gonna say I think Savrin shares everything but the strangulation. Actually,
Oh, so you start pointing out, you see her going into full, matriarch crow mode of like noticing things that perhaps other people hadn't quite picked up on, and that's what this marking means. And if you have this here, this is what this means. So a lot of things are being pointed out to you all, bar the strangulation.
bruisings.
Without saying anything, can I do a seeing perception check to see if I notice that there are a thing that she's not pointing out?
Yes.
Cool.
I would argue I'll let you add 2 to whatever it is you roll because that's your mama.
Because you know
True.
me.
I've got a plus to seeing already, but I'll happily take the
Yeah,
additional
take
plus.
take additional +2.
That's a 15. Does that?
15, pretty decent.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah. You can roll a deception if you like, Severin,
I
if you're
wouldn't hide it
trying
from
to.
him. I would hide
Okay.
it from the others, but I wouldn't hide it from
Yeah.
him.
Okay.
So.
So, yeah, I would say, yeah, you notice that because what I'll say that you see the bruising and you notice that she's pointing at an awful lot of things that are quite hidden and hard to see. and doesn't mention that. So you will pick up on that.
He goes, but he immediately says something else to kind of mislead that he's.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
goes, and then he goes, something's occurred to me. Actually, so the ocarina's been heard. The note, if it doesn't point to you as being guilty, what it seems to point to me is that maybe you were framed. And more than that, it almost says to me like somebody wanted to get back at you for something. And he's just a bystander.
Also, that they know about your recent happenings, or could. Also, I wonder, and she points to like the puncture.
Mm-hmm.
Did someone try to save him? In fact, have I said? I don't think I've said I heard the running away. Did I?
No.
In fact, I will say something else I heard. After the ocarina, after hearing what he said, I heard someone making a hasty escape. Maybe someone else found him and tried to save him.
Interesting.
Well, I definitely wouldn't rule it out if they were trying to get back at me in particular. I've broken many hearts along the way, and I've made many a other musician jealous of my abilities.
If
I
this
am
was someone trying to do something like that, they were trying to get to you emotionally. The note deliberately points out excluding you, and then it immediately, the hearing of an ocarina, seems if they're not trying to frame you, they're trying to hurt you. But you still care for him.
And they sigh. Yes. Even though it was a mutual breakup, I only did it for their sake.
That's dangerous. I'm sorry. And he's gonna go kind of look at the body himself.
I'm going to get some fresh air. And they'll step out into the corridor and everything just to like break from everybody.
Yeah.
In fact,
Well-
Iris. Oh, God.
Oh, go ahead. With me. Hello.
I was like, because you are much stronger than the rest of us. Do you think we could get him off the floor and maybe we look at his back?
You want me to touch him?
I mean, I can. It will just take a lot longer.
I don't handle dirty stuff like that.
Oh my god, fine. And without another word, she heaves him up and easily flips him over, but she sets him on like the shelf just above where the toilet is, where the window would be, and just
Yeah.
lays him down like a makeshift autopsy table.
Yeah.
And then stops, looks down, takes a quick second to observe what she can about the back, glances at them, and then goes, "Yeah, I'll be right back." And like slides out the door to follow.
Esperanza.
Yes.
I was going to look specifically, is there like basically either bruising to the back of the head or anything where someone was, swirling them basically? Sorry, bruh.
Sure. Give us another little roll.
Okay. Can I barter for research again?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Roll what you want.
18. Oh,
Oof,
damn. Same thing. No.
Beautiful. Yes, I would say that there's definitely things that are found upon the back. With the two who are still in the scene, you're going to notice two things. What two things does Sovereign notice?
I think along like his hair, there's like sediment and like scum, possibly like from a waterway.
Okay. And CJ, what's the other thing that we see?
I think there's some indeterminate sort of burn or stress towards the shoulder blade, which could point to many things, one of which being that he was dragged somewhere.
Mm. Okay.
I think just as the last little bit here from Severin just looks at you two, especially at my half-elven son and the other elf
Yes.
here. I don't disagree that maybe it's a diversion to think that Esperanza may have something to do with it, or at least might be a cover of it. But that doesn't explain the elven scarf. That's the oldest thing here. And it's from the Dalish, not from any city-born elf.
That's the outlier, isn't it? It doesn't apply
Yes.
to anyone, really. I mean, it, and he motions, that's the word I'm looking for.
Mhm.
He motions to Jules and says, "You
I'm a
didn't
crow.
even recognize what it was. And I don't own anything like this. So if we're not looking for a Dalish person, we're looking for someone who's interacted with a Dalish person enough to have something like this."
And I don't quite think. My guess would be that the person who did this to him was not as big as him. Because
No, there's signs
Yeah.
of stress on the body.
they had a hard time. I mean, don't get me wrong. Dead bodies are obviously hard to move because like sacks of potatoes, but I think they struggled with this.
I'm inclined to believe it wasn't a crow, but you never do know.
No. But I don't think that they matched him physically and probably had a hard time with it.
How
And
big
that
of a
will be the-
person is Francesco?
Relatively average for a human man. Probably not bulky, but like swimmer bod style. Because Antivan Crows, you train to be at peak physical, but also nimble in that physicality. So, yeah, it would have been difficult for somebody who was a smaller frame, certainly. Yeah.
Well, those are some pointed conclusions, I suppose, but we're missing whatever it is that puts it all together.
Indeed.
Fortunately, he was a very messy man. Who knows what he got himself into?
I'll say I think Sever's like, which one of us aren't? Though some of us are better at cleaning up things, aren't we?
So while all of this is going on inside and I have slipped out,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of sidle up next to Esperanza,
Mm-hmm.
who I assume still looks very like off and a little upset from that
Yeah,
conversation.
they're kind of like playing. They're not blowing into the ocarina because they don't want to make actual sound, but they're like pretending like they're doing a song from it, as a way to like
Mental
possibly calm
check-in.
down. Yeah.
Okay. So she sidles up, doesn't really say anything though, but kind of glances over and is that like a nervous thing?
Yes. And a musician thing. You always have to make sure your finger, and they're saying this straight. They're not being
Mhm.
like, flirty with it. You
Yeah.
have to keep your fingers nimble at all times.
So let me level with you, right? Obviously, everybody has the potential to be like to blame, but like I'm not being hard on you because I actually think you did it. I'm being hard on you because I didn't put you in a position to think that you did it. You know what I'm saying?
They take a moment and nod. It's just if I was going to kill a lover of mine, I wouldn't have done it so blatant,
Look, babes, we've all been there. Okay. Like I've left way too many bodies in my wake after one night stands, but that's like a whole other thing. But my point, okay, is that I don't think you did it. but like trying to prove that you didn't do it when somebody's pushing real hard that you did do it is like a thing. And she like puts a very large palm over on your shoulder and like
Mhm.
like tries to mitigate the strength, but like pats you.
Yeah.
Just kind of like this, like kind of gets pushed down a bit.
But she's very, her face is very set and studious, kind of
Mhm.
watching for your reactions and like gauging mannerisms. But she kind of pauses and glances down and then goes, "So, what are the chances that somebody could have replicated the ocarina to make the exact same noises? Like, is there a pitch thing? Are each of these made as their own, like, kind of brand where they don't actually make the same noises? Because, like, pitch should matter, right? Like, you're a musician."
Yes. Well, when they're handmade, of obviously there'll be slight, like extremely slight differences because no one can. You can never make you can never make the same poison twice. There'll always be because the air was different or the water was slightly colder one time than the other. Not
Hmm.
enough. I don't believe we could tell the difference. However, and they'll like catch the way wherever the rays of sun is and angle their ocarina to like where to the blowhole, and
Mhm.
inside there's like a marking and it's her marking.
Oh.
Mhm.
Well, I think you play it beautifully. But, like, don't tell anybody I was nice to you or anything because, like, they're never gonna believe you. So and she kind of
I don't even believe me.
she looks off to the side, but, like, you see a smirk at your comment.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, if I were a betting man, and I'm not because 'cause I'm, like, really bad at math, um, what would you say is the probability that somebody at that party was to blame? Because I think that we should totally go check out where the party was held and actually see what was going on. Because, like, you know?
I was having same sort of thoughts. And back to your earlier question, if someone was a fanatic of mine coming to all my concerts and everything, and they were of the musical sort, they could do their best to replicate this and make a noise. But again, there's a if they didn't know to make their mark inside or know that I have a mark inside.
Oh my god, was your breakup public?
Maybe a little too public.
What if this is, like, one of those weird fan things where it's like, if I can't have you, nobody can have you, and, like, they totally killed them? Oh
That
my
like
god.
they have an expression of horror on their face if that's a possibility. Like
Oh, should I have not have said that? I'm so sorry. Like, maybe that was an inside thought. Doesn't matter. And then she, like, turns and opens the door, like,
Yeah.
throws
bam.
herself through the door. "So I have an idea."
Perfect. And that is a exceptionally wonderfully timed moment for us to take a break, everybody.
While everyone has a heart attack with the door
Yeah.
slamming open.
Yeah. We will come together after about a 10-minute break where we are gonna stretch leggies, hydrate, all that sort of stuff. Because hydrate or die straight, everybody, and we don't want that in Pride.
Mm.
Um, and we'll see move our scene on to the second half of our investigation to find out who done it. So please stick with us and be back here in 10 minutes, everyone.
Yay.
Bye. Hi again, everyone. Happy Pride season. We're back at it again with Murder They Wrote, our Dragon Age Pride one shot. That is a bit of a murder mystery with our Antivan crows here, who have been just as incredibly skillful and messy and sassy as you would want from a group of all crows. First half, we were investigating the murder of a crow, Francisco Aranai, and quite a lot of clues were found. Some fingers were casually pointed, but it seems that we're going to put aside the possibility that somebody here did anything and instead start to look at others. The body has been placed somewhere secure for now, and the group have headed back towards the building and the room where there was a bit of a party going on last night where two of us attended, and also the murder victim. So I would like the two who were there, as we approach this area, this room or set of rooms, most likely a suite. What does it look like in here? Paint us a picture.
I don't think we have that rating, Amalu.
You can filter it slightly, but yeah. Put it through a lens and just conveniently there's like a plant pot where, like in the camera pan when you're things you don't want to see.
Suddenly thinking Austin Powers movies when they did that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think like it's not necessarily the party's still raging. Like most people are kind of passed out, but some people are getting up, having breakfast, kind of like, snacks and things. All states of undress and um devices abound, we'll say.
Okay.
Um
Yeah.
and I think so, like there's this like a very like half like awake um luthier, just ludist is
Yeah.
just is like kind of strumming like la, yeah, like that's their way of waking up kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's
Giving
my
everyone
input.
some, yeah.
Ambiance.
Yeah. Playing some morning tunes. Um okay. Very good. Uh any input for us, Alice, as to what we see as we look around this room?
Very messy. There's just a lot of disarray from the previous night, bodies, clothes, food having been like knocked off of trays having been purloined from the kitchen and cast aside. Someone has shattered at least one very expensive vase, and no one is going to claim that. And it's all very hazy and beautiful, and at least one person is tied to a headboard.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is there still quite a lot of people here, or has it filtered to, just those who didn't have something else to do this morning?
everyone that had gone out into the hallway to check out the body had gone right back to the party.
Nice. Okay. So we still have people here. Excellent. Very good. What I would like is hmm, s- hmm. Severin, could you roll us a perception check with a focus if you have it
Absolutely.
for noticing something? I'm happy for any of your senses, including hearing.
I'll say I have to go with hearing. This be good. 15.
Okay. Very good. So I'm going to paint a little picture for some of you. Um, Here in this room, there are two people that could be potential interviewees for figuring out what happened. Maybe those who tend to be a bit more observant, perhaps Esperanza, the people that you know were speaking to Francisco last night. Um, I put 6 pictures into the chat for you to pick from. Can you please describe one of them, and then I would like uh, the other to be described by Jules. Two people who are here. What do they look
Yeah, it's
like?
so hard to
And
choose from these lovely images.
what are they doing in this room as you look into it?
Yeah, so I think, the one that they were consistently seemingly talking to,
Huh?
ha they have seen them around, hasn't really gotten their name, but a tall woman, who's wearing, like, red and gold brocade kinda dress. A little fancy for this kind of event, but that's just what they seem, with
Yeah.
short white hair, like, pushed back, well-defined eyebrows, and the lipstick is still perfect, even after, like, what, 12 hours? It's
Oh,
just, like, perfectly red and gorgeous and
the talent. You need to find out where she got that lip stain because it did
For
not
real.
budge. Yeah.
yeah.
Very good. And what is she currently doing in the room just now?
She has a whole platter of food and is like doesn't seem like the type that they'd be like, like just scarfing it down,
Are they
but
maybe feeding someone else?
I think so, yeah. Like it's been between them and themselves, like and one other
Hmm.
person.
Okay. Very good. And all right. So Jules, what's another person that you're like, they'll either know something or perhaps they were around Francisco last night.
I think the ludist over in the corner, this sleepy man, long brown hair, thick, well carefully groomed mustache, tattoos, has he looks awake enough that maybe he's not quite gone to sleep.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Hmm.
and he again is just kind of like lounging over in the corner, like shirt draped open, oh,
Mm-hmm.
Are we dating? Wait
strumming
a minute.
along.
Whoa. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's just
I just have to say, it's so nice to see someone else have the "Oh God, they're hot" reaction on stream. Usually, that's me just going, "Oh no, my type."
Which one?
Run.
All of them. Yeah.
welcome to a Hummelu Dragon Age game, guys.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
True.
no.
Speaking of, CJ, I would like you, there is somebody that Severn is gonna notice, who perhaps was out on a balcony and has just finished turning something over in their hand. So it is not the sound of an instrument being played, but that hollow clay item in a hand. Somebody is holding an ocarina in this room. Which of the delightful pictures? What did they look like? This person who is out on this balcony.
Yeah, I think this is sort of a lithe, uh, paler, masculine presenting person with
Mm-hmm.
defined eyebrows and short, wavy, uh, blonde hair with a bit of a side shave. He's got you can't really see the color of like any sort of his eyes or any close details. He's too
Mm-hmm.
far off, but he's wearing gold, quietly, ostentatiously dressed, I'd say.
Yeah. Ostentatiously dressed. Pretty. I love that it is a. Give me the blonde elf holding the ocarina. We're here for it. So you, Severin, you will hear that sound and it like twigs at your ears. It's not obvious enough, and it's certainly not the sound of the instrument being played, but it's enough for you to be like, it zooms you
Sounds like
in,
ceramics.
and you know that's ceramics.
That's ceramics.
You clock that, and that is an opportunity now for you to perhaps act, as there's a moment where like your sudden eyes on them has this person look over their shoulder, clock eyes with you, and they bolt.
Real quick question.
Yes.
Are they bolting? Can I tell if they bolted because I saw them or they know who I am? Or
You're
both?
not sure. You're not
Okay,
sure.
just
Well,
curious.
I mean, you can roll like a
Okay.
like an empathy check if you want.
Hmm. What empathy is in
Perception.
communication
It
and
is in
perception?
perception.
Shit.
Mhm.
I was gonna see if I could
Yeah.
use leadership to see if I know who they are.
Oh, well, you can do listen, you barter with me. This is a game for yes
Yes.
anding. Sure,
I
Mhm.
roll
have
it.
leadership skills, so I would know most of the people. If not know them, I would know of them.
Okay.
Uh, 20?
Ooh, alright.
Welp.
Yes,
Mwah, mwah.
you do. Um, I would say that this is a person who, is perhaps not a crow, but an associate of, will occasionally freelance with certain skill sets that they have. Um, and it is perhaps just that he noticed the group. Um, it is up to you. I'm gonna let you make this decision to that end.
Okay.
If it was you that he noticed that made him bolt, the fact that just somebody perceived them,
I
or
wanna
that
say
there's
it's
Same.
someone else in the group that they noticed that made them bolt.
I wanna say, honestly, it's because they noticed someone else in the group,
Okay.
and they saw
Yeah.
me see them and can tell that we're together kind of thing at this moment.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, I knowing that and hearing that sound,
Mhm.
um, I think Severin will just, "Oh, how interesting." And she's actually pretty dang quick, and she's gonna just go, like, and kind of know to Little Crow, I think you would know that she's like, "Hey, come with me." And then
Yeah, I
Alice
think
or, yeah, go ahead.
he is tuned into her at the moment. So he would have been like and like a second behind.
Okay. All right. You two are going for the chase. Is anyone else going for the chase? We have people here to investigate as well, and not all of you are necessarily going to have noticed this happening. We're going to split the party, but intentionally so, because it's an investigation, so it's fine.
Um, Jules, I think you're used to me grabbing you and yanking you with me, but I don't wanna take that choice from you at this moment, just in case.
I was gonna ask that. I'm like, because I think Jules would start wandering over to the ludist and
Nope.
would
Yoink.
Yeah, you get that grandma grab, the skinny but very
Yeah,
firm,
yeah,
like, "You're
yeah,
not
yeah,
going
yeah.
anywhere." Yeah.
Yeah.
they just kind of like make eyes at the ludist, like, we'll
He's gonna
come
blow
back.
you. He's gonna blow you a kiss.
Ah.
Excellent. Okay, so we are splitting in two. What we're going to do is we'll allow the two who are here investigating to interview and speak to one person. Then we're going to do the chase, and then we're going to come back for person number two, finish the chase, and then we'll see where we're at the end of that.
So the main reason that Esperanza didn't notice any of this was because
Yes.
they just did a quick glance of the room, cleared their throat, walked in, and started up a really loud but like up tempo song to like help rouse and wake the person. Because what they're planning to do is like get everybody awoken and be like, "Hey, we've got questions," and use a lot of the communication skills I put in
Yeah.
to do so. So that's what they're doing to like make it very obvious, not noticing that poor Jules is being yoinked and disappearing.
Yeah, a few people just all went off the balcony. But you're crows, so going off the balcony is fine. You know how to deal with that. All right. So if you are making some kind of performance, do you want to make a little roll for that using whatever skill that you wish? And then also, Iris, what do you think you would be doing in that moment? If she was trying to get everybody's attention, are you doing something to help wake anybody up?
Oh, I wanna see if anybody's acting out of sorts while she's doing it.
Aha.
So I'm gonna
You're
be looking for
covering,
yeah.
yes. Love that. Performance of 19. This is an incredible. You're like, somebody thinks they can imitate me in my ocarina. Not today. Very good. You play a nice jaunty tune, and then please, I would like to hear you. What do you announce to the room?
I'm trying not to just quote Yask. Everybody's been a
Do
lovely
it, do it,
audience.
do it.
Um,
Yeah.
um, it's also funny, I like playing these characters, yet I'm terrible at acting like these characters. Um, yeah, so after they're done and everybody seems to be awake, they give like a preemptive bow and everything, like, of course you enjoyed that. It's like,
Yeah.
morning, everybody. I
Round
know
of applause.
everyone had such a lovely time last night, either with me or and they were going to be nice to their ex, but then realized their ex is not around anymore. It's like,
Yeah.
kind of give a shrug, like, oh well. They missed their
Fair
chance
in
to get
spirit.
praised. Um, or with other wonderful, equally wonderful partners here, but not everybody seemed to have as a perfect time last night. We all know that my formerly beloved Francisco has been terribly murdered, and this does act very fake and dramatic, but that's their persona when they're being a bard,
Ah.
you know?
There will
Like,
be some gasps because I feel like while some people knew about it, some people have been bound here this whole time and didn't actually get the news. So there is like a lot
literally
of oh
bound
god
there. Yeah.
gasps and shock from people as to
Mm.
what you've just dropped. Yeah. And also a couple gasps when you said that someone didn't have a good time here last night. And there was a couple people who were
Yeah.
like, who what?
I
How is
would
that possible?
love to know that since Francisco was enjoying their time earlier last evening, who were they talking to? What were they planning to do? Or with whom were they planning to do? And just kind of be like very like happy and smiley as they're doing this.
Yeah.
You can either talk to me, which I'm always happy to, or my lovely associate. And that's where there's like the strain in their acting as they say lovely
Yeah.
to blah, blah,
Uh-huh.
blah, to Iris. Like, feel free. We're here at your disposal.
No, I'm not.
They don't say anything to response to that. There's like this smile, like
Uh-huh. There are a couple of people who are like interested. They're immediately like, Akanari, hell yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So who there are a few people who look interested and certainly those who are open to speaking to you about things. But perhaps your investigation is going to be a bit more pointed and particular. Can you roll me? I suppose in theory it would be an empathy and perception, Iris, but you are trying to look at the crowd. If you have another focus or skill you'd like to apply for that, um,
Would
please. Mhm.
would my tracking that I did earlier have put me in a position? Because I had a reason I wanted to come
Uh,
here. So would that have
yeah,
put me into a position to be able to ascertain anything in this room?
quite possibly. Maybe somebody has dubby footprints.
Oh, ho, ho, wee wee.
Wait, wait. Sure. Give me a little roll. I'm gonna allow you to add a plus two because it is building on something that you succeeded at earlier.
Okay. So just throw tracking again.
You can roll tracking, yeah, and then we'll add two to what you roll. Oh,
18. So 1920.
see, this is the thing. Personalized, messy. Skill sets, though, we're very good at what we do. Um, yeah, exceptionally good. Okay. I will allow then somebody who is not in the scene, so one of the three who are doing the chase.
Mhm.
Um, this tracking and knowing what Iris is here looking for, do they notice anything interesting or suspicious on anybody in this room?
Well, we did say the footprints were smaller. Um, I would
Mhm.
say you see a little bit of dirt. Not that things don't get messy at parties because food and everything else is around, but might be a little bit of dirt hanging on to somebody and maybe some water trails with it. So now it's mud. It's just
Oh,
mud.
it's just mud.
It's just mud.
Um, okay, so who maybe has some muddy footprints? It can be uh just someone random, and feel free somebody else can build on this if you like. You can use one of the pictures, either the two that we've identified we want to speak to, or someone else that perhaps has something muddy about their footwear. What do we think?
Hmm.
No. Someone here has some dubby footprints
On tiny feet.
on tiny feet. Sure. Yeah. It could have been a throw off.
Well, then again, all feet are tiny to me, so that's
Yeah. Very true. It
Sure,
could,
why not
in
say it?
theory.
Why is it not the very impeccable lipstick woman?
It could be.
oh,
Muddy feet. Yeah. Yeah.
Very
There
on
could
place.
also be, yeah, absolutely. She can have some muddy feet right now. There's also the option, and this could be an also an and or situation. The one who just ran from the balcony also.
I was thinking, what if there are a few people with muddy feet?
Yes.
mhm.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I like the other woman with the really darker hair that's longer on one side and kind of like the gold brocade in there.
Yeah.
The elf with the um it's not feathers, but the mantle
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Definitely say she has some muddy feet.
Ooh.
Maybe they all have muddy feet.
At this point.
Yes.
And honestly, I'll even throw in there just for funsies, especially with the announcement that was just made. I
Yeah.
think her eyes are kind of darting a little bit, trying to either scan the crowd for something, scan the
Ah,
announcee for something. But there's very much a
okay.
eyes are
So this
darting.
this elven woman at the announcement not only has stubby feet, but is now looking around as if analyzing other people for suspicious behavior, perhaps. Curious. Okay. So, who are you wanting to go and speak to first? You can split up if you want. One of you can hang back and just watch. It is your call, but now is the chance to flex those communication skills, those that have them.
Mm. I want to wait a minute before I
Okay.
talk to anybody. I'm still watching reaction,
Yeah.
Yeah.
trying to gauge the
I'll
crowd.
And
yeah,
you can
I'll go
always
towards
see anyone who's looking at Esperanza and whatever conversation they're about to have to see if anyone's watching them.
I would like to cue evaluation while I'm waiting and watching who
Ooh.
Yes.
Esperanza's talking
Yeah,
to.
yeah, 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 yeah. Perfect,
Yeah, so
perfect.
I'll go to the one that I did see talking with my ex. Like
Mm.
that see like let's
Yeah.
get them eliminated from the suspect list or, what have you.
Mhm, mhm. Okay. Uh, she'll pause what she's doing as you approach and give a
Mhm.
smile.
How do you do, my lady? And they'll like do the bard kind of bow and everything. And I noticed last night you were having quite a bit of a conversation with dear Francisco.
Yes, I did. It is very sad news to hear what has happened to him.
It is, and in such an unbecoming way. And they really are bothered by the fact that they were found in the
Yeah,
bathroom.
yeah.
You know,
What do you mean? Was he found in an embarrassing place or
in the library toilet.
the library? Why would he? He never struck me as a reader. Oof.
No, his abilities were elsewhere, as I'm sure you
Mm,
know.
perhaps.
Mm?
When did you
Oh,
last spoke with him?
oh, it was towards the end of the evening time, at least. We had a little bit of a discussion about what he'd been up to, as much as you're allowed to divulge about jobs, that sort of thing. I gave him a few recommendations. He was looking for places to go out and eat and have, meals out.
Mm.
I had a few little spots to recommend.
For a job he was about to take or for last night? And they'll look at like the buffet and the fact that she has a
Uh-huh.
platter. Like there was plenty of food here.
Yeah. Oh, not for last night. No, I'm assuming he was planning some sort of social engagement with somebody.
What part of town?
Towards the back end of town, near where the more elevated parts of the hills. Gives you a beautiful view of the coastline without being too close to the port. You know how
Of
smelly
course.
it can get in the summer.
Yes, we don't like that.
Oh.
After you last talked with him, where did you happen to partake? And like pointing towards the rooms where everybody else would disappear
Hmm.
to, you know?
I did a few times with a few people,
Mm. Did you have
as
to
I'm sure you did as
reapply
well.
your lipstick?
No.
Oh, I'll have to get back to you about what you do to make sure it stays just perfect.
Hmm. Happy to give you tips if you need it.
Hmm. And I want to see if they're having lied at all or if they're being genuine of everything they've said so far.
Sure. So that is an empathy roll, which is in perception. We'll see what you rolled in a second. I'm going to let my kitten out. They're trying
No
to get
worries.
eating out jelly bean.
Kitten's like, I'm not a murderer. Let me out.
Or she's looking for escape.
That's it.
Oh. Oh
Yeah, I swear
no.
it wasn't
It,
me.
it was the kitten all along.
Exactly.
The kitten is analogous for the guy we're about to chase.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Hmm.
I apologize.
Yeah, no worries.
Right. Bless little Miss Jellybean. Okay. 13. Okay. Hard to read. This is definitely a conversation between two Antevans who know what they're doing.
Mhm.
So it is difficult to necessarily ascertain anything in it that feels suspicious. But, you know,
Yeah.
this is Antiva, baby.
Yeah, I think I get the feeling like they're being mostly truthful. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
if they're hiding something, it's not regarding to the death. It's probably regarding
Yes.
to the missions and such. It's
Yes.
like,
Yes. And nothing they're saying is like, untoward in any way. It's carefully worded.
yeah. And they thank them, for their time and everything. And
Mm-hmm.
again, I'll get back to you on so good with the lipstick before they like turn around and like kind of give like a subtle um like expression to be like we can not worry about that particular person kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. So, basic bits of information, nothing that felt outrageous, although she was recommending him places where he could go and, have a meal out somewhere, which
Yeah,
you know,
could be
could
something.
could be. Mm-hmm. All right. If you want, uh, I'll have Iris roll some kind of role that you feel that you want to use for studying the room while that engagement was going on.
Mm,
A little tete-a-tete.
evaluation.
Sure.
13.
Okay, 13. Um, I'll say that nothing usually standing out, but there will have been one person who is listening very intently to the conversation. Can somebody who is not in the scene tell me who it is that is watching the conversation?
I think it's the dark-haired elf, the one that's been
Okay.
analyzing reactions.
Yeah. So there's this femme elf who is towards the back and is just watching and listening, not necessarily able to read much of on her face as to what's going on, but she has been clocked into what was being discussed. You do notice that.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Is there a food table?
Yeah, of course there is. These sorts of events always have a buffet.
Do you see her kind of slide up to the food table and take a sandwich off the top and just start eating it as she's staring this other person down, waiting to see if they either notice or say anything as they're listening in? Doesn't say
Hmm.
a word though. Just enjoys the sandwich.
Yeah, you can eat. I think they're listening, and then when the conversation seems to end, Their eyes are gonna follow Esperanza to see if she's gonna go and question everyone else rather than watching the woman. Um, and will not clock the fact that you are watching her. So perhaps some
Mouth
more to do.
full
Yeah.
sandwich, just cheeks puffed, has shoved another sandwich into her mouth and starts to walk up, is not subtle, is not
Uh-huh.
quiet, complete opposite of everybody else. Taps, taps her on the shoulder.
We'll look up and then up some more. Yes.
What's so interesting about my friend? And she points.
Well, it seems like she's here looking for information about the death of somebody who was here last night. I'm very curious as to see what's being discussed.
And she takes a big swallow, half
Uh-huh.
chokes, and then just So, I'm just wondering why you feel like that's your business. Because like, only somebody who had business makes it their business. You see what I'm saying? I just think it's a little weird, you know?
Sure. Is it your
Like,
business?
oh, yeah, it's so my business.
Okay.
So why is it your business? And she seems like she's friendly, but you're not really sure if she's being
Uh-huh.
sincere.
Uh-huh. 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 Um, if you roll me one flavor of communication in here, it's up to you what you want to use. You could be persuading, you could be trying to use some leadership, you could be being intimidating.
Hmm. Let's do would initiative apply?
Initiative is more
It's
like
more of
how
a
quick
tense
you are to act in a
yeah,
fight.
more of an
Yeah,
action.
yeah.
Okay, I
It's
can do
okay, just
standard communication though.
yeah, yeah.
Let's do
For
that.
now.
Oh, 20.
Oh, 5 points of stunt. You oh god.
Plus the 5.
Yeah. Um is gonna look at you and then look at Esperanza, who's probably still talking with other people, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
back at you. Well, I have had dealings with him in the past. Old history, of course, before his more recent romantic forays. So I'm curious to see if once again his exceptionally messy love life is what has led to his demise.
Oh, so it's like that. Okay. It's like, do you have somebody that you suspect?
Well, there may have been several people, whether these are spurned lovers or hopefuls to be the next apple of his eye. Maybe it didn't work out. Maybe they're just one of those people that gets a little too attached, in an unhealthy way.
Hmm.
Or
Any
perhaps it was
Go ahead.
sending a message to someone else. Maybe it's somebody who was interested in somebody that just broke up with him recently and they wanted to punish him for that.
Is anybody a fan of the ocarina? Like, do you like the ocarina? Are you into that?
No,
Oh,
it's a little too tooty for me. I prefer strings.
the sniff. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. Oh, oh, oh. So,
The strings have
like
a lot more character and a lot more talent to it, so
yeah, okay, whatever. I don't play instruments, that's fine. But, like,
okay.
I'm just asking if somebody else, like, likes to blow, you know what I'm saying? Like, was there anybody else that could have who was an axe?
Not that plays that instrument, no. There was someone here playing that earlier, though. Originally, I heard it and I assumed it was her.
You didn't happen to, like, notice where they were, right? Or, like, where did the sound come from maybe?
Mm, well, she starts looking around. There was someone here. Little boy thing.
Well, that's specific. So, like,
Yeah.
do you know what he looked like? Or
Yeah, he was like a blonde elf.
oh,
Yeah.
like, there's not really a shift in demeanor, it's still this very, like, playing it up to the conversation,
Yeah.
but she kinda shifts her feet back and forth with which accidentally, like, half because she doesn't realize her size in comparison, you're standing right in front of her, and
Yeah.
she, like, half bumps you with her abs as she, like, turns to look the direction you're talking about,
Okay.
but she doesn't notice. And then she's like,
Okay. Yeah.
"Oh my god, okay, so, like, I'm gonna just go that way and check it out. Anyway, great lipstick, looks great. I wouldn't wear it.
Thanks.
Wrong color for you, but that's fine. Okay, bye." And then just
Okay.
leaves.
Yeah. Exceptional. We love that. Um Okay. So as you go to investigate that and Esperanza comes away from her conversation, we are going to go now to the three who are on the run.
Ooh.
Um Now, it seems that this person knows their way around Antiva City and they know how to move through it swiftly. Not being a crow, they don't know all of the tricks of this city, however. But it is going to be a full chase, and I am open to the three of you throwing in whatever you want to paint the scene together, and then I'm going to allow the other two players to control what he's doing on his escape from you. So, for the three of you, what is your approach and what do you do in this early little stretch of the chase?
So for Sovereign, knowing how short she is, would use that initially to her advantage to not be seen, like, in the crowds
Hmm.
of people.
Hmm.
And she's a shadow, so would escape to the shadows to then get high.
Okay.
So use like pulleys if we've got it around and be on top so she can keep eyes on their
You
target.
too. So the fun thing about entering into shadow mode is that you basically I know that in theory this TTRPG does not allow for it, but we know what it looks like in the computer game. So
Yep.
there's something about the way that the shadows just grip and wrap their way around you where you are just difficult to see. And this city is rigged up for the crows in a way that other people just don't know about. And there are pulley systems and levers and little latches and hidden things for you to get up onto roofs, get into windows, finding hidden doors, getting underground. So yeah, you can get up on top of the roof and be pursuing from a height. And the good
And
thing about this
mostly,
person ostentatiously wearing gold is that they're kind of easy to track through this crowd.
yeah, and I definitely want to act for the other two as kind of like a beacon if he turns,
Uh-huh.
so you can see me turn and know that I am following, yeah, and trying to
Okay.
point out where he's at. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's unheard of for Tyrion and Savarin to do work together. So it's one of those things that he knows how to look for those cues,
Hmm.
and doesn't have to follow everything by the letter of the law. So as she heads into the shadows and then goes up, he heads forward and then down an alley that
Hmm.
he knows has one of those sort of lines up. And he's very dexterous, but
Yes.
his strength and all of that is not the best, so he has to get up as quickly and as easily as possible.
Yeah.
So he grabs onto one of those lines and pulls, and it pulls him up toward the rooftop where he can go kind of not at the same level or the same way that Saverin is gone, but more of a pincher where he's
Hmm.
kind of trying to come from another side to head this person off.
Okay. Marvelous. Um, Okay. And I'd like to think that they have what is essentially nonverbal communication, like sounds and signals that are essentially ahead or to the left or to the right, little verbal cues to let people know the direction that they need to go in to pursue people. So, yeah, that's easy to do.
And I think Jules, we've mentioned Jules has been sort of pulled into this, especially by Saverin a few times. So they're probably quite familiar with some of these things as well.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So, Jules, what are you doing in this pursuit?
I think as Savr pulls them directly like off the balcony, Jules just kind of like dead drops into the street.
Mm-hmm.
And where the other two are like on the rooftops going up, Jules knows especially like the more market parts of the city, and the Vellisti house, being merchants, own a lot of shops, and plenty of those shops have little hideaways, nooks, connections to other buildings, and they know what those like sound cues are, listening out for them, and they don't blend in, but they are able to kind of like make their way through these like almost labyrinth of shops, like to like start cutting this man off as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Very good. So for the three of you, I would like you to roll whatever skill you feel applies to what you are currently trying to do. And I know that for certainly entering into shadow mode, I think it adds +2 to things like stealth for you. Yeah. So use what you've got, even powers, specialities, whatever you want. Throw at this, and then for this first stage, I'm gonna get Diana. Can you roll me 3d6 plus 4? And we'll see what he gets in his attempt to run away.
I guess. Okay. Sorry, I just want to double check. Yeah, it is stealth.
Mm-hmm. Hard to beat. Yeah.
That's stunt
Oh,
points though.
love that. Yeah, some points. So what you're doing is cool. Okay. So it seems like two of you are running, pursuing, chasing, stealthing behind. And Jules, you're trying to maneuver your way through the crowds in a certain way.
Yes.
Okay. What I will say is that uh you know that you are pursuing. You have not lost him in the crowd yet. He has been able to elude you so far in what you're trying to do, and seems to be pulling you to a more rundown back alley area of town. Um, Slightly less people in the crowd, but more little places to hide or duck under. Think like we're going Dead by Daylight style of like getting up through windows and closing things in your face, and you're like he's using the environment to um try and throw you guys off, aware that he is being pursued. um so in this sort of second phase into this, now that our environment has changed slightly, we're not in the sort of really urban sprawl of the city center here. We've gone off more into a rundown inner city area, where the environment is going against you, less so the people. What would you like to do now that you definitely have his trail to close in and try and capture this person?
So there's less people right around
There
him.
is less people now, yes.
Now that there's less people and Sovereign is still up above, she's gonna go into her bag and pull out concentrated spider venom. She is a master poisoner,
Ooh, yeah, she is.
and that lowers his dex if he gets hit by it.
Okay. So
So yeah,
you're gonna try and, sorry, somebody just screamed bloody murder
man,
outside.
freaking Antifa.
Yeah.
We didn't even do anything yet.
Someone else is being murdered somewhere.
Ah, perfect.
So if you're trying to roll to hit him with something with this poison, are you going like a bow, like a ranged weapon here?
Um, she doesn't typically fight that way. I would say honestly, she'd probably just try to lob it, but get
Or
it
are
where
you,
either he's
yes.
going or
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're trying to pursue to either get within throwing knife distance or
Mhm,
catching up to him to try and get him maybe at the back.
correct. So
Okay.
I don't know if that'd be like acrobatics. What you
I
want
would say
me to
just
do?
do your roll to hit
Okay.
with the weapon of choice, and if you succeed, then you manage to catch him with this.
Oh, please be good.
The other two, now what I will say is that the other two may be doing things that help kind of wrap into this. So you can see that Severn is closing in, the blade is out, you know that she's a master poisoner. So What are the two of you doing in this situation? Because it could be that these three things combo up in a way. Yes.
Sorry, actually, I was gonna say I am stealthing, technically.
Yes.
I'm in the shadows. Does this count? Trying to see if there's literally anything I can add to this.
Hmm.
But I'm not backstabbing, never mind. Okay. I will aim then.
Sure. Well, we'll see what the others. I mean, you can roll your to hit, and then we'll see what other people are doing to kind of
Absolutely.
wrap the three things together.
So 17 total for right now.
What are the other two doing?
I think if Jules, if can get like a head on him,
Mm-hmm.
they would try to kind of like faint them out. Like eh, knowing enough about this city, there's definitely some weird little alleyways that maybe he doesn't know about, or that with a specific like hit of a certain brick, like a wall
Mm-hmm.
just begins to close, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just try and like funnel him in there.
So you're trying to use the environment.
Use the environment, use a little bit of deception, maybe.
Sure. Give me a roll for what you want to apply into this, and then finally, our little crow. What are you doing to roll into this capture?
So I think to sort of exemplify this, I want to tell everyone that this person's, as in Tyrian's,
Yeah.
constitution is 2 and his strength is 1.
Okay.
He's not having a great, you know what? He's got a lot of willpower, and that's what keeps
Yeah.
him running. Um, and so he's not showing it by slowing down yet, but he's getting really tired of this really fast. He doesn't have a lot of patience for this. Um, and he goes, "Oh, would you just stop?" And I do not know if I programmed this into Roll20. We're about to find out, like, if I did programmed
Okay.
it incorrectly or not.
Yes.
Um, I don't know if I did. Did I?
Okay.
Yeah.
Looks like
Yes,
you
you
did.
got 10 right. You were trying to beat a 12 and you got a 15, so you're
Yep.
fine.
I
Yeah,
did programming it right. That's
you
great.
did.
I'm me and computers, my friends. And when he goes, "Would you just stop?" A bolt of energy shoots out of his hand, and he
Okay.
casts Daze. And
Mm.
if this person succeeds
Yeah.
on their will, I think it's willpower, but I wrote it down.
Mhm.
Why am I going? I think if he succeeds on his strength might versus spell power, he
Yeah.
will still take a constant. I have it here. He will still take a -1 penalty on and on his ability and some
Mhm.
confusion. And
Mhm.
if he fails, he will not be able to take any further actions.
Okay. Um, I like the actions taken by all three, and I think we wrap them together. We yes and the situation, and you know we're all exceptionally well trained at what we do. So you do a will you just stop? It dazes him slightly to the point that he misses the fact that Jules managed to get in and flick a lever, and it's almost like pallets or like a door that is slightly wonky and off its hinges, but it's actually attached to fall across the walkway of this alleyway. So that gets triggered. He doesn't see it in time, lands into it, collapses over it slightly, just in time for Savern to appear out of the shadows as if out of nowhere and just with your dagger. So he's now stays like dazed, a little stunned, flattened into this pallet, this like wonky door that just like fell over him, and has some poison working through his system, and now he's just kind of like groaning in place.
I think even Severin, she like basically just pops out of the shadows and
Yeah,
does this. It's just like, not moving anymore, is he? Nice job.
Mm.
Looking at both of you.
just you're
Ty-
groaning in the background.
yeah,
Yeah,
Tyrion
love
walks up
that.
and is just like, I hate chasing people, and just sits on top of him.
You're doing that, you know, that deep breathing where it's like, you need to give me a minute before I have to fully talk here because I feel like I just need to catch my breath. Sitting on top of him, I love it. So
Yeah, on the
we,
door that's on top of him, he just sits down on it.
yeah. So we have now captured this poor wee elf. What is your next step?
definitely going to walk around his form and
Hmm.
see if I can find either in his hands or pouch somewhere. Look into that and
Hmm.
see if I can find the what I think is clay ocarina.
Yeah. There probably is one, but it's like attached to a belt.
Hmm.
So it's got a little bit of string that allows you to attach it to your items, your garments, so that you can kind of have it with you on the go. So you can do a quick pat down and be like, there it is. Yeah.
Think I'll borrow this.
Mhm.
Um, Question: would I know the bit of information about uh like these are particularly in Ravini or
Yeah, I would say
okay.
so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um
You know your shit.
I was like, and I kind of like look at it. And then I look at him especially. Is it unusual that he has this? Or would I expect him to have it?
Hmm. It is sometimes hard to tell,
Yeah.
particularly with those who are elves. Um, the one thing that I will just give you is that, particularly for city elves, a lot of the times they have to travel from city to city, especially for marrying in, and you're not always staying just in the one city. They have to diversify those gene pools a little bit and travel and circumstance, and sometimes you'll get orphans. It's not, it's not the happiest
Not
of lives.
possible. Yeah.
It's not impossible that he has it. What I will say is, Diana, do you think I would like you to describe the ocarina that he has? What do you think it looks like?
Ooh. I think it's closer to, I guess, the Dragon Age equivalent of a jaguar.
Okay, yeah,
It's still as compact that if if you compare the two from a distance, they're about the same shapes because that obviously a bigger or smaller shape will definitely change the music and tones and everything. So it's a
yeah,
very compacted, kind of like the way Mayan glyphs are set of like how like the jaguar is like very compressed and everything to keep
yeah,
that bird type shape, you know.
yeah, yeah. I know what you're putting down. Yeah, it's just a little jaguar one.
Okay. I think because I was about to ask, like, does it make sense for his hand size? And then I was like, never mind, that doesn't make sense. Severin, I think, because he's laying on his stomach, right?
Yeah, he's like collapsed over.
Yeah. I
So
think she kind of
he's
leans.
not fully flat. He's
Yeah,
like bent over because this
yeah.
pallet's like falling over. Yeah. Mhm.
I think she, in her very like practiced, scary ass way, just kind of leans down and looks him directly in the eyes, just like, so it's yours.
Roll me something, whatever skill you want to apply to this. Your approach to trying to convince this person to talk to you.
A good cop, scary cop.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I don't know how bad she must be about this.
And really tired
Um,
cop, I guess.
I
I'd
think
like to be confused, cop, please.
I'd like to be lost.
Yeah.
I think I'll do bargaining to
Okay.
start.
Mhm.
16.
All right. My grandmother. Oh, it's so appropriate for Severin. That one,
Yeah.
sorry. I'm a meme generation machine, so you know.
Yeah, no, that was great. I was like,
Um,
that's good.
I'm a grandmother. Will look you in the eyes. Yes.
They lying to me.
Will seem to be. It is
Okay.
his. In the way that, like, coupled with if you ask a thief, well, if they manage to get it, it is theirs now. But also,
Yeah.
if you ask a drag queen, is that your real hair? And they're like, I mean, it's a wig, but I bought it, so yes, it's my
Yes,
hair.
mine. Yeah.
You know, it's giving that kind of like, yes, this is mine. It's not inaccurate.
Yeah, but definitely not offering anything beyond that.
No.
Yeah.
Jules would step over, kind of like lift up his chin to like make sure he has eye contact with them.
Mm.
Now, darling, did you have this morning? I definitely remember you last night. I don't remember that.
I feel like I know what you're trying to roll, so please roll for it.
I mean, I have
I would just
seduction, but I
let
also
you
have
guys
persuasion.
yeah, I would let you guys just, like, we just role play the scene, but when I know that you have that focus, we so rarely get to use it.
Mm.
Okay. I did.
You find it though, or if you had it.
It is mine.
Just what were you doing this morning? I'd hate to let you go back and deal with her. After all, she might actually kill you. This does have to do with the murder.
And you don't want to piss off the crows, dear. Being nice.
I think I am much more pleasant.
I
I was
actually just want to know why you ran when you saw us.
I Hmm. I was just doing a job.
Now, what sort of job was that?
Look, if you were out on a job, I would not ask you for the details of yours because I know you would never tell me how you people roll.
And you're not one of us, and I'm going to ask again. What job was that? And I'm going to pull out the little main gauche that I have and right up under his chin.
And remember, you're an Antiva, dear.
No one's going to miss you.
Don't be so sure of that.
We'll make sure no one misses you.
Hmm. Well, consequences for that action was yours to find out. But I was hired to do something and I did it. It did not make sense to me at first, but I was told to be at a certain place.
Playing the ocarina.
Yes.
Can I do a cultural lore in the way that he speaks or the way that he's dressed? Anything to know where he's from.
Sure.
Please be good.
You got to
That
carry the
was
team on this one. I don't have any culture.
it. 15.
Um,
That was a weird delay.
for an elf, he is very well dressed with
Yeah.
finery and gold, and that's a curious thing. Um, the exact nature of it is a little hard to tell without context clues, but it is enough to know that either he's in a position enough to have the stuff himself, but more likely he's in a position where somebody buys him these things
Gotcha.
and dresses him a certain way.
It's all taken care of. Got it.
Hmm. It seemed odd, but I did what I was asked.
One quick question. Can I glean
Yeah.
anything if he is Dalish or if he's City Elf? I think we said City, right?
Yeah, and the people in this area, it can be a little muddy, and sometimes they may have been like yourself, Dalish once, and then brought in because you had to have reached adulthood with your clan before you got the Valasline. So the tattoos are not always a clear indication. It just means that if they were Dalish, they were taken from that before they reached adulthood.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So yeah,
Just
a
curious.
little hard to tell, but I mean, there's maybe like a twang to the accent in a way, but
And Tyrion's not really picking up on the culture bits of, oh, this person has a sugar partner.
yes.
But from where he's still perched on this poor person's back, like he kind of
Uh-huh.
crosses his legs and like pulls out of his bag the scarf, and he's like, I'm not that heavy, come on. And then he kind of leans over and like drapes the scarf down and goes, do you recognize this?
I do.
Yeah. Yours?
of a sort.
Awfully messy to leave your stuff at the scene of a crime. I'll leave it here for you. And he'd just like not dropped it like disrespectfully, but like lays it down in front of him.
Technically, you know what? Mm,
Oh no, I'm interested in technicalities.
not?
They're fascinating. Please. And I'm happy to like roll a persuasion or something if you want.
Yeah. Sure. Some of if you got 'em.
I do have persuasion. There we go. Is focus. There we go. 15. I rolled really low.
Look, that is technically mine. Or it was. I gave that away a long time ago. I know I am aware that somebody has ended up dead, but I can promise you I was not the one that killed them.
Let me have a quick shot at this, if you two don't mind. And he looks up at it.
Go for it.
Great. So
We're getting the Columbo Reddit. Let's go.
here, so it was yours, which means you were Dalish. Now you're not. You're not a crow, so you weren't brought in here specifically for that, but you were brought back here before, or brought somewhere before you got your tattoos. You dressed nicely, and you made a bit of a face when you saw it again. So you gave this to someone. You gave this to someone you care about or someone you owe something to, and you were surprised to see it again, but now you aren't so surprised because you realize you were hired to do the job, to play the ocarina at the scene of the crime, to frame someone else by the person who you gave that scarf to. Am I close?
Close.
I'll take it.
Can I like feel them up / pat them down a little bit to see if they have anything on their body?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
You
thought
can.
that was just
Yep.
where the sentence ended.
Yeah.
No, he's a suspect right now.
I
okay.
feel them out.
Sure. What are you looking for?
Just like anything, maybe just out of place, like along with
Sure.
the.
So we heard from Diana. Autumn, what could perhaps be found on this person, whether suspicious or not?
A slice of cheese.
Yummy.
Okay. Yeah.
Do I know where this cheese is from? No, I'm kidding.
Jesus.
But
Which
Francesco
market?
allergic to
Part of
cheese.
Who did you get this from?
But
But actually,
yeah.
well,
You
no,
take a
hey,
big whiff of it and you're like, oh, Ferelden.
I
Smells like
mean,
wet dog.
Yeah. Oh, it's our legions. It's always the fucking our legions. Okay.
Listen, y'all
Yes.
laughing about the cheese thing, but I'm just saying that there was a table with food.
There
mhm.
was.
I was gonna say, and legitimately, actually, she's gonna look
Yeah.
at it and try to cultural lore that shit.
I
Go ahead. Also, I
Sure.
am a
So
merchant.
you see Jules kind of go and pat this person down, reach into a pocket. He's like not happy about that, but cheese is brought out of his pocket, which some of you might be like, "Oh, okay." But
Snack or
yeah, feel free to roll a cultural or if you feel
Heck
if you're feeling
yes, because I
fancy.
want to see who hired him. Like, there's
Yeah.
got to be some indication of someone hiring him.
Sure.
19.
This is definitely let's call it. Yeah, this is Orlesian cheese. Now, was there Orlesian cheese at the buffet when you were in there? Possibly. It is a place that makes damn good cheese.
Oh,
Like damn fine coffee.
no pie though.
Yeah,
Shame.
their pies are not great. Yeah. You have to go for Eldon for pie.
This poor man. She's about
Yeah.
to do some really nasty things to him.
Did one of you have that necklace?
I do. I still hold it.
Now, does
Mhm.
this look familiar as well?
And like just drops it in front of his face.
No.
Well, you
It's
the
not. Mm.
I think she kind of gets at his face, just like, were you the one I heard running away this morning?
Well, I can't say that for sure if there were several people running.
And I think this is when she's like, all right, okay, little man. And definitely just gets out her knife. And again, she's poison lore.
Yep.
Um, I
He's
think she-
already got some working through his
Yeah.
system right now.
So you're feeling, and she's got it under his face. I can tell you're feeling pretty bad. I would apologize, but quite frankly, I don't care. Also, I can do worse. You best believe me on that one.
I do believe you.
Thank you. Keep trying. All right. Who hired you, dear? To frame our friend.
I'm
Yeah,
not.
I was hoping no one would hear that.
Sorry.
She's
It-
part of my house.
Whoever it was didn't like you enough to not sell you out, so maybe that'll color your decision.
It is incorrect to use the word hired.
Who did you volunteer for?
Not that either. I followed the instructions of someone that I always follow the instructions of.
By choice.
What choice do we else really have in anything that we do?
You have a master?
Yes.
He stands up immediately.
Ah,
And actually, I mean, he knows that Savarin's poison is going to make it so he can't really move anyway. So he's
yeah.
not worried about that. So he stands up and he
Yeah, he's
also
not going
picks the
anywhere.
door up off of this person
Oh, okay.
and just kind of pushes it aside.
How about this? I'll make you feel better if you tell me who it is. I mean, I
Yeah,
can
that's
poison
fair.
you, but I can heal you too.
We can
Sure.
also make them feel worse.
Okay. Sure. I If I was to divulge those things, you might as well just kill me here and now. What's the point?
You're in the city of crows, darling. Nothing happens without us.
Not gonna lie, I'm so tempted just to stab him, but sorry, go ahead. Like, I think you both see that Savrin's like, okay.
No.
If you want to die,
I personally have a fun idea, but true to the format I have laid in place for this, I'm gonna ask two questions, and the two people who are not in the scene can decide which of the questions you want to answer. Someone that was at that party is the person who has hired him or owns him. And the other person, I want you to put in whether you think they were the one to actually commit the murder or not. And then what we're going to do is we're going to wrap, and I want us to kind of go around the table and we're going to finally pull our puzzle pieces together to solve this. And then I'll hear from all of you what you're going to do to close the case. So, of the two who are not in this scene, who at that party owns this elf? And two, were they the ones to actually commit the murder, do you think?
I'll let you go first, Autumn.
So wait, so are we
So
I'm-
we're starting the process of figuring out who actually did it,
okay.
and the how. All of us will get to have a little bit of input and say what we think, but as part of that, we need to establish who at the party. You can start us off with who at the party do you think owns this elf, and then the other question is, were they involved in this murder? They don't have to be the one to actually commit the deal, but were they involved?
Oh. my instinct is incorrect here. Well, no, I was gonna say I do.
Oh.
I was gonna say,
Oh,
but
yeah.
that doesn't mean you're a
Listen,
part of
if you
it.
No,
that
no,
doesn't
that's
mean you were
exactly
part of
what.
the yeah,
So
yeah.
no, you know what? I'm gonna lean into that. Yeah, Iris does.
Okay. I love that. This
Oh,
is great.
so good.
So, Iris is the one who owns this elf. Um,
Well, less ownership, more
the
like a
next
partnership.
question
Yeah, yeah,
is, well, you know it, yeah. Is employed by you.
yeah.
What was it before?
Yeah,
Glucose Guardian?
Lucas
Glucose
Guardian.
Guardian.
Lucas Guardian. And so, Diana, did Iris play a part in this murder?
Ooh.
You're
I think
muted.
you're muted.
I think in the direct murder, no.
Ah.
But they were the ones that offer to have this distraction happen for whatever reason. Maybe for fun, maybe they were influenced by the actual murder.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right. So involved in some way. So we're gonna pull back ever so slightly from the scenes that you're all in right now, and we're gonna pull together some conspiracy theories with some of the NPCs involved, maybe some of the PCs involved. What actually happened with this murder, and ultimately, who was the killer? Feel free to just spitball with one another.
So I'm going to put in that I think Iris received instruction from someone that she maybe owed a debt, or they had some sort of blackmail on her, or something like that, or
Uh-huh.
and that instruction was to do the things that Iris then sent this elf to do instead, in order to make sure that debt was fulfilled. So it was something like it was like a little package that was like play this ocarina outside the bathroom, and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Iris was like, "Well, that's weird," and pushed it off onto their
Yeah.
business partner, or whatever we're
Sugar
calling them now,
baby. Let's be
the
yeah.
sugar
Okay.
baby.
Biggest
Um,
part.
uh, and so that maybe this person is someone that Iris owes a debt, or that has blackmail on Iris.
Oh.
Oh, wee wee.
Yes, Alice, I can see that face. What's up?
Bouncing off what CJ says, I think it's actually the talent of the house.
Oh.
Francisco has been
Oh.
getting a little too messy with his relationships and just a little too public with his affairs.
Uh-huh.
And
Oh.
he just needed to go. And who better than your own house to handle it?
Do you think the first talent of House Arnai was like, gotta go? Okay.
They're known for taking out their own if they need to.
That's what the crows do. If you cross the line.
Mm.
Okay. All right.
I'm
Oh,
Anything
the
else to
fact
thinking.
add?
that I'm
Mhm.
so sorry. The fact that Tay said to Esperanza earlier, like when he was like, "Did you still have feelings for her?" and he went, "That's dangerous." Now,
Yeah.
now you're like, "Oh God, it was."
Especially
I
between two houses.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like it was like kill two birds with one stone, get him out of the way, and then possibly frame Esperanza, because Esperanza has become too famous of a bard, and is like, well, you can't be a good assassin if everybody knows what you look like or your talents and everything, and has been maybe subconsciously in their last songs because they developed feelings for Fran.
Mm-hmm.
Not secrets obviously was leaked into the songs, but it
Yeah.
was definitely linked that there was something more with this person from this
Exposing.
other
Yeah.
house.
And usually you don't do full relationships. You're not meant to settle down as a crow. So the fact that you
Yeah.
guys were a little too cozy, maybe your breakup was orchestrated and you didn't realize it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm. Okay. I'm loving the conspiracy board pulling together now. Okay. Anything else to add?
Don't forget, side note, that Fran was the one who trained me.
Yeah.
Any
place.
He also owed very big favor to someone.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is just subsequent, this is anecdotal. I think the reason that Iris was the one that received that package with that information to do that is that it was a test.
Mm-hmm. Are you loyal to your trainer or loyal to your house? Mm.
I will.
That's the taste of the plot thickening,
Yeah, I was
everybody.
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
to throw in just one more thing, if I
Uh-huh. One
may.
more thing. We have to do the one more
Well,
thing.
sorry,
Listen,
there, you see, I
you
got to
have
your
to get
moment.
listening.
One more.
Yeah. Yeah. You got
Um,
me. You understand.
So you can spend your stunts for that, right?
well, and so, the first Talon definitely could orchestrate, especially if they were becoming a liability. And the crows protect the crows above all houses and everything else.
Yeah.
There are some people who enjoy being crows. And,
There are.
maybe you want to prove that they could be first Talon instead.
Hmm. Yeah. Ah, juicy. I love it. Okay. So in realizing all of this, each of you, as you pull together, some clues have been revealed. Perhaps a name is dropped. Or I imagine actually Sugar Baby was like, nope,
Take that
my
to the
life would be
grave.
forfeit if I did. Yeah.
Yep.
What would be some concluding actions? What do you do? Do you all just tip the hat to first talents at play and just be like, you know what, we know our place? Uh, does anybody actually get unalived because of this? Oh, is there a reward in place for people being good little crows and actually doing what they were told?
I have in my mind what I think Tyrion might do, but
Yes.
I think some of his actions depends on Savarin. So I'd
Okay.
be interested to hear what Savarin does.
Okay.
So, all right. So, Savarin, uh, she, as far as House Deriva, is
Mm-hmm.
just, likes to know what's going on and listens and uses that to her advantage. So I think at this point, with all the information and knowing what it is, she's a loyal crow, and she's going to ensure that people know that she was a part of that we, this group was a part of everything, and trying to figure out little clues and make sure the right people know the right things. So
And full disclosure, what I was going to say Tyrion does is nothing.
Yeah.
I think she's like, I think that's wise, little crow.
Yeah. Okay. The
Oh
other three,
no,
what do you
an
do?
unsolved murder.
I know, yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I think Jules just they were just in the wrong place, the wrong time, and they just got messed up in all of this bloody, gory nonsense and just
Unfortunate.
go back to their life of bacchanals and flirting. And, if the house Sarah and I start getting debts collected on, well, if it comes through money or if it comes through blood, they can't trace it back to anyone.
Very good. Esperanza, what do you do?
Um, they know that they can't actually do anything against the other house, like directly, or and knows that the Riva is just going to sweep this under and be like, which frustrates them.
Mhm.
I was gonna say we're gonna use it. No, we're using this for political power. Just saying,
Yeah,
sweep what
so
we
they're not
can, but
thinking
also like
politically. They're
Aaron and
thinking,
I, we're watching you.
yeah.
Behind the doors.
They don't hold anything against Iris. Like, like shit happened, you're connected. And also Iris was nice to them, even if it was a hallucination, that they were nice to them.
Wow.
Um,
Uh-huh.
so like legitimately no hard feelings with their involvement in it or slight involvement in it, but they do
Mhm.
start like they go back to like focusing on being like the bard and going on tour and like and very similarly just like having like not any real relationships, but there has been some curious cases in this other house of some of the higher ups having weird accidents and falling off of and saying weird things because one of the potions one of the poisons I chose was the hallucinogenic one.
Yeah.
So kind of like Hitman style, they just seemingly trip over a balcony or get like run accidentally let the Mambaris that they've been training come out when they were very hungry, just weird little accents like that. That's
Oops. Oopsie doodle.
yeah, as
Yeah.
they're touring and everything, but they
Uh-huh.
they are taking this to heart.
Okay. So, last but not least, Iris.
Iris finally got her sandwich. Yeah.
Hell yeah, you did finally get that sandwich.
So I would say, listen, at the end of the day, sometimes the teacher should have focused on being a more observant teacher who actually was good at what they did and not a complete failure, to leave open the possibility that the student could have surpassed them before they even realized it.
Mm.
Just because you are large does not mean that you cannot move behind the scenes just as easily as someone who lives their life in the shadows.
Yeah. Delicious.
No one's ever gonna know. And then I
No.
ride off into the sunset with my sandwich.
Yeah. Yep. And your little golden elf following behind you.
My golden boy.
Your
Perfect.
golden boy. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
your actions were noticed and approved of by those who are higher up in House Arnai. We love to see it.
Me too.
Ooh, yeah. Murder they
That's
did
so
right,
cute.
and we solved it. And you know, when you're involved in a whole bunch of crime families, you learn to just turn the other cheek and look the other way. Very good. Well, that is our story, everybody. Round of applause. Good
Yay!
job. Yay. Thank you very much for joining us. This is one of an assortment of stories that have been here at Girls from These Worlds for Pride and also for June 13th as well. Any games that have been already shown, you can catch up in VODs or on YouTube as well if you want to check them out. They've been great, so do highly recommend. Um, and for us, we're going to go around and do a little like where you can find us as well. And I will check in and see if there's any notices for the channel. As for me, myself, I am Emma. I'm humbly on the internet. I am a perpetual Dragon Age storyteller, it seems. Because on Tuesday, you will see the penultimate episode of Blood and Lyrium over at the Transmissions channel. We are gearing up for a finale, and it's set to be quite emotional. I gave Torin a little bit of emotional damage at the end of last episode. So you can catch up on episodes with that before we have our last two sessions. And at some point, mid to late July, I think, I'll be back over at Valiant's channel where I'm running the final season of In Darkness Unbroken over there. We're going to be having our 5th season, and it's going to be great. They're into winter, and it's going to be real messy. We love that. But that's it for me right now. The rest of us, can you please let us know who you are and where we can find you on the internet? You can just do the
Hi.
yeah.
Same
There you
order.
go. Yeah.
Hi guys, my name is Alice, they them pronouns. Tonight I was playing Jules of House Felicity, also they them pronouns. You can find me everywhere online at Alice Hart, or if the adult film star has stolen that username from me on yet another platform, it'll usually be Hellion Heart. Let's see. If you guys are really bored this evening, in about an hour and a half, I'll be over on Lost Caravan playing the second part of a Through the Breach 2-shot where I am playing a slutty Harry Houdini. Today's the vibe, y'all. After that, on Thursdays, you can find me over on Enchanting Sorcery Productions playing another type of Dragon Age. in their campaign End of Love, where I am playing a Canary warrior. Um, let's see, in July, on July 10th and the 24th, I will be running a two shot of Thirsty Sword Lesbians over on the Lost Caravan. On the 12th on Lost Caravan, you'll find me playing in Flabbergasted, which is a fun little kind of dry English humor comedy game. And then at the end of the month on the 27th, I will be running a one shot of Old Gods of Appalachia on my friend Sarah's channel as part of her Twitch anniversary on Sarah Does Stuff.
Fabulous.
I'm Autumn Ivy, and I got the pleasure of playing Iris. I sincerely appreciate you guys allowing me to join you at the table. I had a lot of fun, and it was like murder Mad Libs with Dragon
Yeah.
Age. And honestly, like I could not have been in a better position. So you can find pretty much everything under official autumnivy.com. I have merch under autumnivy.com as well. But I have the pleasure currently of playing a game with Roll for Cake, which is it's Dungeons and Dragons. It's a mess, is what it is. It's a lot of mess. But we're coming up on the game before our final game because it was a short run, so that should be interesting to say the least. So you guys are welcome to check that out. I think VODs are available on YouTube. Beyond that, I'm just a wee who does a lot of stuff all the time, forever and always. So thanks for watching, though. You guys are great.
Hello everyone, I'm CJ Starry. My pronouns are they, them, and I've been playing Tyrion, who's Tyrion. I know my character's name, whose pronouns are he, they. I have had such a blast. I would love to play Tay again someday, but right now I would say there's a number of things that you can find me on, but a lot of them have actually just wrapped a season. So during the day, you can find me at Rowan Rick and Deckard, where I'm the community marketing and a customer service manager. Yeah, lots of stuff. We just wrapped a Hollows actual play, but there is more coming. So keep an eye on that. Other than that, I am a perpetual guest star in many places. You will find me on a short run of They Came from the Cyclops' Cave at Onyx Path right now. And you may have previously found me on well, actually, you can currently find me on Ink and Lyre, where we're doing Through the Breach. We are doing sort of a No Man's Land Wild West Through the Breach theme, which is so much fun. And I've previously been on More Things to Count, but among them are The Lost Caravan and a few other really great channels that you may find me on for subsequent one shots like here. I really think that's probably it. Keep an eye on the Beloved Nerds, where you'll find both an upcoming pre-recorded vampire series, as well as we've just wrapped a season of Monster of the Week, but that we call Antique of the Week. But we will be coming back on that as well. So yeah, I don't sleep. Thank you for having me. I had an amazing time, and I have owned Dragon Age TTRPG for so long, and this is the first time I've ever gotten a chance to actually play it. So thank you. I had a great time.
Hello, everybody. I go by Diana Moon online. I use she, her pronouns. You can find me on Twitter still, and Blue Sky as Diana Moon. I do a lot of like cultural consultation, sensitivity editing for various TTRPGs and video games. You can find me on Sundays with the Reclaimers and All POC TTRPG group on Nergasm Noir. We're currently doing Castles in the Air, which is a Gilded Age RPG that had just finished Kickstarter through the Storybrewers game. So if you ever played Good Society or anything like that, it's in the same vein, but your children in the Gilded Age time period growing up and seeing what messy relationships have happened since you've grown up, and it's fantastic. I also do GMing for Magpie Games. I have 2 games coming up in late July, both a Masks one where you're in a superhero boarding school that's not quite right, a little horror-esque, and I will also be doing a 2-shot Passionless Passiones game. So please check it out if you have the funds to be able to do that. It's beginner friendly. It'll get messy because I love mess, as we all apparently do. And I
Mhm.
think that is it tentatively for now for me. There might be some things down the line, but nothing. Everything's in NDAs until appropriate. But yeah,
Mhm.
I've definitely had a blast. I had fun playing Esperanza, and yeah, I would love to play more with all of y'all in Dragon Age for sure.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I am Torn, or Torn Talks Creativity. I am a digital artist and voice actor that streams on Twitch sometimes. I've had so much fun playing Sovereign. That was way too fun to play this woman. Anyway, it's been an absolute blast. And anyone that knows me, I know you can't see it, but most people know that I am a Dragon Age nerd. Have a
Mhm.
Grey Warden banner, so any freaking time. Thank you, Hamalu. This has been wonderful.
You're
Uh,
welcome.
as far as the best place to find me, be Twitch at Torrent Talks Creativity. And just a quick shout out, tomorrow I am doing a charity stream benefiting St. Jude's Hospital. It's
Oh,
a huge team of us, about 80 people. We've raised about $30,000, I think, thus far in the last 2 weeks. And we will be doing the last 2 days this Saturday, Sunday. So I will be online tomorrow if you want to come see it. That is it
yay.
for me.
Awesome. Yes, do check
Yay!
that out. Check that out. St. Jude's is a great charity. Okay. So yeah, that has been us. There's one other thing I want to say for those of you who love Dragon Age and can't get enough content, especially right now with the new game announcement and all the content that's coming out. I think people are chomping at the bit. The sleeper agents of Dragon Age fans have come alive again on the internet. I plan on our transmissions channel to play through maybe not Origins, because streaming Origins is a bit difficult on a PC, but I'm going to be doing 2 and Inquisition. I'm playing them right through because I'm about to come on a summer holidays because I'm a school teacher and I have freedom. So starting Monday, if you're paying attention to my socials, I'm going to be playing through those computer games and just chatting shit about lore. But that is us. We are gearing up for autumn seasons here at Girls on These Worlds. So if you have a story that you want to tell, this is a really safe and accepting and loving space to tell your stories on. So especially if it is femme voice illuminating, and supporting. So Creators Up is always open. If you have something you want to tell, consider telling it here. We're going to be rating Quest Junkies UK, who are doing a Pride charity stream. So please do stick around and chat, throw some rainbows at them. And for now, happy Pride, everybody. Take care of
Happy
yourselves.
Pride!
Bye.
Pride.
Oh, goodbye.